you, Matt.
All right, all right. Let me get out of that. Gentlemen, how are you today?
Very good. Thank you, David. How are you doing?
Doing well, David.
Very well.
Doing good, doing good. So we had no audio on that. Hopefully we have audio on our voices. Can everybody hear our voices? We'll test that out first and foremost. There's no reason to start the talking, but believe it or not, there was some kick-ass music with that little vignette. Those were some old pictures. All right, we can hear you. First of all, welcome everybody. Welcome to the Bond Style-A-Thon. The heck is a Bond Style-A-Thon? This is where we're running a marathon of Q&A, questions, discussions, maybe some surprises where you get to be a part of the action. And there was no way I was going to do this alone. I've got to really introduce my co-hosts. First of all, we've got none other hailing all the way from glorious, glorious London, where it's always sunny, Mr. Pete Brooker from Tailors with Love. Pete, how are you doing today?
Very well. Thank you, David. Very flattered to be invited to the Style-A-Thon, as Anastasia calls it. In great company, and really looking forward to getting into some meaty clothing James Bond talk.
Well, this is the place to do that for sure. And couldn't really do that without, you know, the gentleman that is relatively synonymous with the sartorial style of James Bond, whether we like it or not. And that is the one and only Bond Suits, Matt Spaiser. Matt, welcome to the show.
Hey, thanks, David. Thanks for having me. I'm really glad to be here with the three of you guys. It's just, there's no better people to talk about James Bond style with.
Well, thank you. Thank you. Wow, I'm blushing. Either that or it's 108 degrees in here, which I think it is. And you know what? Rounding out the group, he brings such a modern style, attitude, and a daily dressing like Bond. How do you do this in your everyday life? Not just cosplay and not just trying to be James Bond up in your head, but how do you go out into the world and dress like Bond? It's no other than Harris Thomas from Dressing
David.
Like Bond. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I'm looking forward to doing this. Again, what a great way to, you know, spend a Saturday afternoon with the three of you guys and everybody watching. Very much looking forward to it.
Great. And by the way, I've got to thank Harris for something right away as people are filing into the room. Matt, I don't know if you heard about this, but Harris told me that today is National Gin Day. So I've got my own kind of version of a gin and tonic with number 3 gin. And what are you drinking there, Harris?
I'm drinking a Duke's Martini made by Alessandro Palazzi, and I'm also using the number 3 gin. So happy gin day to everybody. Hope everybody's drinking something.
Wait, I thought Alessandro was in London. He came to your place and made you a Duke's Martini?
Yes, that's the setup that we have here during quarantine.
Wow.
We'll talk
Matt,
about
are you
that
drinking
later.
any coffee, tea, milk?
I am drinking my afternoon tea courtesy of Hugo Drax.
Wow. So that's the cucumber tea, I assume.
Yes.
I don't know. All right. Well, listen, we've got a lot of people filing in here. I see ladies who bond, Lanier Smith, Universal Exports, Kevin Rogers, Mike Poplowski, Universal Exports. My gosh, look at them all just filing in from all over the world to hear about the sartorial aspect of things. So I tell you what we're going to do with this shindig. First of all, we got to start off with a little bit of housekeeping and maybe just a little bit of a CYA situation. And that is this, and I think everybody would agree. Style is subjective. Everything that we say today is our opinion and your opinion. But in the end, you do you. If you're comfortable in it, if it makes you happy, if the fit is what you like, you do you. And I say that because we're not here to preach or to necessarily teach. We're going to give you our opinion and our ideas. And maybe we're all, including us, the 4 of us, are going to walk away a little bit more inspired to up our style from a Bond standpoint. All right, here we go. You can start the questions over in the chat. And while we do that, I'd like to start with a little bit of storytelling, because I always find it interesting to hear, how do people get inspired? How do they really start looking and focusing on the style of James Bond? So Pete, how did you get into this? Because I love the fact that you bring a certain amount of whimsy, and a certain sense of humor, if you will, to style. But what brought you into that world?
So I guess 2 or 3 years ago now, Matt and I started a podcast together called From Tailors with Love. But before that, I was hosting another podcast, and I was just starting out with that. It's for another menswear magazine. I invited Matt on to have a chat about James Bond clothes, because that's really all I wanted to talk about. And it was quite a few emails back and forth, and I eventually managed to persuade Matt to come on the podcast and have a chat. And we kept in touch ever since. And so there's a couple of other spinning plates going on at the same time. I've just been asked to open up a fashion shop with my best friend from school. So I've had a complete career change, dumped what I was doing over there, which wasn't a lot, but then opened up a fashion shop over in Cambridge. I also had an accident and I was housebound, and so was my dad at the same time. So we had literally nothing to do apart from watch James Bond films on a loop. We had the box set, so we just churned through those, played some chess, watched the Bond films endlessly. So, I mean, we were already big fans, but by the end of it, we were so well versed with Bond. And then I met my girlfriend, Anastasia, and we started traveling the world together, which was fantastic. And we started in Rio. We went up Sugarloaf Mountain, and I was like, oh, crikey, this is where it happened in Moonraker. This is the cable car scene. And, I kind of got the bug then. And I was wearing, I don't know if you saw it on one of my Instagram posts, I was wearing these fruit suit pajama thingies.
We all saw it. Yeah.
It was kind of crazy. So I felt a little bit out of place, more so than usual. And I guess with all of these things going on at the same time, I really started to look more into what James Bond was wearing. Eventually, after doing about 2 years of James Bond talk with Matt, I eventually learned a thing or two. And I think that's basically what's brought me here.
Love it. Love it. And by the way, what are you wearing today? You look very dressed down.
Thank you. Yes. I feel slightly out of place for once being dressed up. I had to make up for the fruit suit. So I'm wearing a Hugo Boss tuxedo and my Frank Foster bespoke pleated shirt that's made by Frank Foster, who did the pleated shirt original for George Lazenby. Matt helped me out with the pattern. I wore this to the last Operation Phoenix, and I'm sure people are sick and tired of me talking about it, but that is what I'm doing. And I think this is $2.99 from Oxfam.
Oh, wow. It doesn't show. It looks nice. Frugal Bond.
Thank you. Frugal Bond moment.
Very nice. Harris, what about you? What catapulted you? What compelled you to enter into the world of Bond style?
Yeah, much like everybody, right? We got into it through our dad, our father, at a young age, and that's certainly what I did. And then, as I grew up, I really was into music, and music's what was and still is a big part of my life. I was always into clothes. At that time, it was tight black skinny jeans, black Converse, black leather jackets, and chain wallets, and hair past your shoulders. There is photo evidence out there if anyone, actually you might see it later on. But so I always had that love for clothing and style, and just depending on what I was doing. So obviously I was playing guitar at the time and in rock bands. So I was like, I'm going to dress like a rocker, right? And so realistically, as life went on, I went to college and decided that music was not going to work out for me. And I was always into business, always into being an entrepreneur. And so I moved back home. I decided I needed a life change, and I cut my hair, literally shaved my head, and decided I was going to dress like Bond every day, and incorporate that into my life. And that's kind of what I've done. And that's really, propelled my life and propelled my career. Definitely has enriched my life with the friendships, with you fine gentlemen, and a lot of the folks probably watching that I've met, and with travel and clothing, of course. It's been fantastic. So it's been a really great way to really just be cultured, I think, not just wearing a suit every day or a tie. You really get to kind of learn about the world and learn about past and future, in my opinion. So,
And Harris, what people should realize is what you're wearing today is not unusual for what you would wear in your everyday, but what are you wearing today?
I'm wearing a Brunello Cucinelli suit, wearing it with a No Time to Die Tom Ford tab collar shirt, the Tom Ford tie from Skyfall in the Grand Borough scene, a little No Time to Die tie clip from Vincent and Clegg. So yeah. Nice. Not pictured are the jeans that I'm wearing below this.
You didn't have to tell anybody that. We would have just put the whole thing together.
It might be jeans or it might not.
Rounding out this motley crew, this band of merry men, we've got Matt Spaiser. Matt, you go back a ways with this, but what hooked you? What pulled you in, man?
I think what hooked me was just wanting to figure out how to do things better in my life. And I was already a James Bond fan, and I looked at Bond because he just did everything so well. And I was like, everything with Bond is perfect. So the way he dresses must be perfect. And I want to dress better. I'm going to look to James Bond for inspiration. And I looked really closely at his clothes from quite a young age. And then I kind of moved on looking to find out more about other clothes and just discovering more about clothes and learning more about all the fit and detail and all these great things about what makes clothes great. That brought me back to Bond. And then I had more knowledge, and I could look more into Bond to see really what is Bond wearing more. And that just really was my inspiration.
I love it. And you're slumming it today. You look like crap, but what are you wearing anyway?
So I am wearing a special order suit from Mason and Sons in a blue shark skin. I'm wearing a blue voile shirt from Frank Foster with the Lapidus cuff that Roger Moore wears this cuff in The Spy Who Loved Me and Moonraker. And I'm wearing a burgundy grenadine tie from Turnbull and Nasser.
Nice. That cuff is amazing looking. That is so unique. Seriously.
Yeah, it's I think one thing I love about Frank Foster's shirts throughout the Bond films and just what they do in their shop is just they really focus on really unique cuff designs. And this one, that wasn't even theirs. They Frank himself stole this design from Ted Lapidus, and and that's why he calls it the Lapidus cuff.
Well, at least he paid him some deference and respect for it.
He did, which
not a penny, but he still paid him some respect for the name. By the way, guys, I'm wearing casual. I was the only one here that dressed casual, but I've got the windows open. It's gorgeous. You can see a little. It's warm, but it feels fantastic. It feels like the Caribbean. So I had to do a Thunderball dark blue, and because they just launched Olibar Brown linen shirt. I am wearing a Planet Ocean watch as an accessory, just because it's my comfort. It's my rabbit foot, my good luck charm. I have other watches, but This watch comes before them. And, you know, fashion and style for me has just always been that invisible bond moment that I love. I went from, you know, just using it, like Matt said, as a template to dress better, you know, especially in my early 30s, to just kind of, you know, not have that sack suit look that so many people were guilty of. But then I fell in love with the brands and the stories and the brand stories and the people that own the brands and their particular journey. And that's kind of where we are today. But those are your hosts for today. We have a gajillion questions coming in, and I'm going to start poking them out to you. So this one, the first one is from Q Branch Media. And Q Branch Media goes right off the bat. He's not holding back. If you're looking to buy your first real Bond luxury item from the Craig era, what's the best bang for your buck? Something you'll get a lot of use out of and is worth the multiple dollar signs. So from the Craig era, something that's worth bang for your buck. And we're going to start with Harris.
Douglas Pell money clip from Casino Royale. Easily, you can wear it. You're gonna use it every single day. You're gonna have that invisible bond moment every day. Doesn't break the bank, and it's well quality. You know, it's great quality, and it's a small moment in the movie, but I think it's that small little nugget for everyday bond love in your life.
Nice. All right, Pete, what about you? Craig era,
So
bang for your buck.
I don't have it, but I've had it on good word that the Rogue Territory jacket that you see in No Time to Die is quite something. And it's, I don't know, is it $250, $299, something like that bucks? I mean, You'd expect something like this to be twice as much and twice as exclusive, but it looks phenomenal. And I think that, from what I've heard, Harris, you have that, right? And
I do. Yeah.
Obviously got, yeah.
Yeah,
So you'll be better versed in this, but something like that along those lines, I think you're going to get a lot of mileage out of a jacket like that.
Yeah, good one. That would probably be my runner-up. That particular one for the Craig era.
Podium.
Yeah, Matt, what about you?
Well, it's something I just bought, and something that I'm the last person to buy it, but it's the Sunspill Navy Riviera Polo from Casino Royale. I mean, that's just an item that's one of the most popular items from the Craig films. Now, it's on the slightly pricier side for a polo, though nowhere near the price of a Tom Ford polo. And yet you're getting something so unique that the fabric that the Sunspill polo, that mesh knit is so unique. You're getting something that really is very special. And I think it's just, polos are my go-to item for warm weather, and this one is just going to be so useful this summer.
Well, Matt, you took my choice, so we're going to have to say goodbye to you. No, but so as not to replicate, I will say, you know what? I'm going to say my Omega watch, and I know that Q Branch Media said luxury item. It's a luxury item, obviously. Many of these things are. I wear it every day. So as far as bang for your buck, I mean, the Riviera Polo I wear a lot, but I certainly don't wear it every day or maybe even once a month. So I'm going to have to go with any Bond watch. If you love it, if you wear it, if you engage with it, really does give you bang for your buck. That was great, guys. All right, here's a great one from Bond on a Budget. We know him. Question for all of you gentlemen. Ooh, get ready for your memory banks. Matt, we're going to start with you since you're warmed up. What was the first Bond-related clothing item you purchased and why?
I mean, for me, well, can it be something that I was inspired by Bond, or it has to be an exact replica of a an exact Bond item?
Whatever it was inspired by.
For me, when I was a kid, I was always, if I had to dress up, I'd wear a blue blazer, and I looked to Roger Moore in Moonraker for his blazer, or I looked to Sean Connery in Dr. No or Thunderball, and to me, the blue blazer was something that probably the way that I could dress up as a kid being Bond.
I love it. Pete, what about you? First item.
So I have actually been to Hoi An a couple of times, which is out in Vietnam. And I had some clothes made whilst I was out there these aren't obviously James Bond clothes or brands, but this is perhaps the very first item that I bought that really echoed Bond, and I was really inspired by Bond to get.
Oh yeah,
which
that's
is
right.
My green safari jacket.
Yeah.
But it's made out of linen, but because it's cold as balls 10 months out of the year around here, I had it lined, so it's more structured than your typical linen shirt.
Look at that lining.
And the lining is
Look at that lining. I want to find out why Pete's balls are so cold.
They're cryopreserved.
Different live stream.
Yeah, that's the other Zoom meeting I'm
Exactly.
attending tonight.
Harris, what about take your sip? Take your sip. What about you? First item.
Yeah, I was in Charleston, South Carolina, July, burning hot. I mean, humid as all get out. And I went into Billy Reid for the first time. Obviously, I knew of the famous Billy Reid peacoat. And I said to myself, well, it's July, it's hot. I don't need a peacoat, but if I go in there, it'll be happy to at least see it, buy it, see it, try it on. And of course I get in there, they have one laying on, one on the rack, and guess what size it is? It's a small.
Nice.
So we put it on, my dad loved it. And that was kind of the thing where like my dad and I both kind of like agreed that, I was still young. So I was like, yeah, I'm going to spend the money on this. And I bought it right then and there, and never looked back since. Still have it today.
Do you really? Do you wear it?
As often as I can. I know, David, a lot of times to wear it, if I'm with you a lot when I would be in a situation where I could wear it, and you tend to wear it. So I choose not to wear it so that we don't look like father and son walking down the streets of New York, even though
we do.
Even
though
people still think we are. David, do you remember that time we were outside of Sunspell, ironically, and we went into that, I needed coffee, and we went into that Aloe Yoga leggings store, and we bought the coffee, and the girl was like, oh, that's nice you're out with your father today. And I'm like, yeah, totally.
Yeah, but they were talking to me, Harris. You look old as F. Just heads up. I'm just saying, you're doomed in about a year. Don't mess with the bull, you get the horns, brother. So my first item, I remember this incredibly well. I was in love with Tomorrow Never Dies. I remember seeing it. It got me in to the style of Bond, everything about it. Pierce Brosnan was the epitome of, fashion model becomes an assassin, I guess. But I remember the opening scene, the PTS, when he wore that leather jacket in the Arms Bazaar. And I remember ordering the very first one. If you know Wested, who makes a lot of the Indiana Jones jacket, Wested Leathers out of the UK, they had a prototype, and I bought the prototype and had it for a very, very long time until I, heard about how just, not screen accurate it was. But at the time, I loved it, cherished it, wore it way too much, even when it was getting, hot. And that was my first one.
You sound like you're talking about it in the past tense. Did it?
It's gone.
Did it come to some kind of
gone.
demise?
You know what I do, and probably a lot of people on this in this live chat do the same thing, is sometimes you upgrade. So sometimes, you have something and you upgrade, or you get rid of it because you think you're going to upgrade, and then you're moving on to other genres and things like that. So
how many times have you thought you were going to upgrade, and yet then you bought it again 2 years later, the exact same piece?
You know what? I did that once. Well, all right. I'll tell you. I'll make this very quick, chat room. They're just talking to themselves. So I bought the Spectre jacket at the end of the movie, the John Varvatos one, the blue one. And I remember doing a review on it, and I wound up like, I'm never going to wear this thing. It has baseball stitching. It's not me. It's just not who I am. So I sold it. And then 2 months later, I'm like, God, I feel like there's something missing from my collection. So I bought it back. And then a couple months later, I'm like, why the hell do I have this? And I sold it again. And now I don't miss it.
That's just like Sylvester Stallone with his dog when he had to get Rocky up off the ground. He sold his dog and then bought it back like years later, and then it died.
All right, we got a question from Views from Mark. It's an interesting one. And by the way, I'd like, so far we're not doing, well, at least I haven't seen them yet, like, hey, what do I do in this case? But this is an interesting one. We're going to make this kind of short. Views from Mark asks, if you could all pick just one Bond watch, which Bond watch would it be? I'm gonna kind of generalize this question a little bit. Any Bond watch.
Okay. Can I do mine?
Yes.
So I would go for the Rolex one that Roger wore in Live and Let Die, that gets him out of a scrape. And I think that's probably the most iconic watch of the series, because I think it does the most, as in it, even from a style point of view, it's beautiful. But then from a gadget point of view, it looks awesome. It has I think it was compressed air. Once you pressed it down, then it kind of goes ping, and then it starts and goes into action. Sid Kane, the guy who designed it, barbed the little grains on the bezel of it to make it like a saw. Anyway, it's phenomenal, but it's also on a par with this watch over here. But I'll let you guys chip in whilst I go get this watch. You guys.
All right, Matt, what watch do you want?
Oh man, I would have said the same thing as Pete. And I'm just going to agree with Pete here, and just give that all to him.
Love it. All right, Harris.
Well, I've got to go with what I wear every day. I mean, this is the Quantum of Solace Planet Ocean, and I think that if you're only going to have one watch out of the Daniel Craig era, at least for me, that's the era I grew up in, and that's the watch I want. This Planet Ocean, you can put all the different straps on. You can put the No Time to Die type strap that I've got on it right now. You can put David's rubber strap on it. You can put the regular stainless steel. Yes, you can put David's rubber on it. You can do whatever you want, and you've got all 4 or 5 Daniel Craig James Bond films in one watch, and it's perfect for me.
I love it. Yeah. So if it's only one Bond watch that we can have forever, it's definitely going to be my Casino Royale Planet Ocean. But if this gentleman meant what extra watch we could have, it might be the No Time to Die one, just because it's so unique. The brown face, I think it's kind of unusual. So Matt, this question's for you.
Sorry, Dave, can I just before you get over to Matt?
Yes, of course.
The Die Another Day watch. Are you talking about this one here that does this look? It flips the face.
Oh,
yeah, that is a
beautiful
beauty. I bought it on eBay for 15 quid, but it doesn't work.
15.
So yeah.
I remember when you got that in your Instagram stories, you had this wonderful 3-year-old Christmas morning smile on your face.
Yeah, I cut that short before I realized it doesn't work. So you didn't see the tears afterwards. Sorry.
All right, Tim Guccione asks a question, and we're going to focus it on Matt. So Matt, out of all of the obsessions that you have with some of your knit ties, what's your favorite knit tie of the entire series?
Well, I'm wondering if he's also talking about the grenadine ties, because that's where my real obsession is. And I have this this really dark navy a grenadine tie that I actually had made at Sam Hober. They use the best grenadine silk from Como, Italy. And so I got this one because it just goes with everything. Just this really, really dark navy. It looks black in a lot of lighting, and it just works with everything. And it's what Sean Connery wears in most of his Bond films. So that to me is just the ultimate tie. But as for the knitted ties, I just get a knitted tie in the same really dark shade of navy. They're just so versatile.
Yeah. They are fantastic. There's a great question here. Some questions, please ask even informational questions like this one. Jamie Dickey asks, David, do you have any, I love this, spinets of info regarding the release of the No Time to Die Tom Ford capsule? There's not many Tom Ford stores in the UK, so information can be a bit scarce. So here's the reality. There is no Tom Ford No Time to Die capsule that's coming out. They have available items right now. They have, I think I've gone over them all, the suits, the ties, the shirts, but they're not having a formal capsule line. In other words, it won't be called the No Time to Die capsule line. What they're doing is they're offering their items that you will see in the film. So there isn't a formal capsule line. I have no idea why it hasn't been marketed, but that's just the lay of the land. It could have been a lot of things. It would all be speculation on my point. So those are actually available. And I just read something on Tom Ford that their boutiques have opened up again. Some cities probably only for curbside delivery, which would be a bit strange going to a Tom Ford store and asking for your glass of champagne and to try on a suit on the sidewalk. But there it is.
David. Oh,
go,
sorry.
Go ahead, Pete.
Yeah.
No, go ahead, Pete.
So just hold my hand through this. So they basically didn't want to buy the license to sell the product. So they don't have like a cardboard cutout of Daniel Craig next to the suits that were in the film in the stores, but they can say that these suits were worn in the films. It's a very close line.
We don't know. I don't know if it's that they didn't want to buy the license and have a cardboard cutout, or if this was part of the agreement. I mean, they haven't, nor would they tell me anything other than I know this stuff is available like right now. Like you could get his tuxedo and his suits all day long. You can get his ties all day long. Shout out to Crystal Osborne in the New York City store if you have any needs. But I've got to read this statement. It's not a question, but it's so beautiful. And it's going to warm the cockles and maybe even the balls. Matt Spaiser. So behind the stun says, Matt Spaiser is my spirit animal.
Oh, that's John Orty. I mean,
that is so beautiful.
That's very touching. Thank you.
Very touching is the appropriate phrase.
Catching Bullets, Memoirs of a Bond fan, Mark O'Connell on board.
Hey, Mark.
Ask this question. Do you guys ever tackle size and fit for guys, as 99% of folks don't know about sizing and correct fits? And I'll start off with that first. I always talk about fit. In fact, it is the first thing when I do my videos. In fact, the last probably 10 videos I've done and the next 10 coming up, I talk about the fact that I think most people come to my channel to look at the fit, because it's great to see a size chart. And you look at a size chart and you go, well, I'll get a tailor to fit, visit me, or, my last suit was this. But things are like a thumbprint and you never know how they're going to fit. I mean, this is a medium, but it fits bigger than Oliver Brown's other medium. And then even out of this line, I tried on a medium, the striped shirt from Thunderball, and there were buttons popping. So I think I personally tackle the fit in the real world. What I do is I give my size, usually in my chest and my waist. And what people can do is they can actually extrapolate from there. Well, I'm this size, so I probably can go up one. And I think we do talk about fit from time to time, but I'm actually going to hand this off next to Matt, because Matt, you also talk about fit in how things should fit, right?
Right. So I do talk about that. And I do find that fit is a very personal thing, because, and it's a very difficult thing to talk about, because people like their items to fit differently. You like your clothes to fit a bit more snugly than I do. But also just, even if we're, just two people are a size 38, and clothes can fit us very, very differently, because every person is just built in their own unique way. And I just find it it's just so difficult to compare how something will fit one person versus another.
That's a great point. Harris, what about you?
Yeah, for me, I'm very thin. I'm a stick, and I'm very self-conscious about that. And so for me, when I have to get things slim. I know I've talked to Matt about this before. Matt knows. I wear stuff skin tight for most people, but for me, it's not skin tight. It might look skin tight, but for me, it's not. And I think if I wear something a little bit baggier, I feel like I'm wearing something that's 2 sizes too big to me. So for me, I have to go a little thinner, especially in a jacket, and sometimes shortening the jacket to make it, for me, to look proportionate. But like Matt said, it's definitely kind of to your, and that's what makes style amazing, is that no really 2 answers are right or wrong. It's just what you like and what works for your body and what you've got. That's just, the beauty of all of this, quite frankly.
Yeah. Pete?
Oh, it's interesting. I think when I first started watching your channel, David, what turned me on to you was what you were saying about how you instruct people about the sizing. And in the UK, around about this time, 2 or 3 years ago, influencer marketing was slightly different. I think that it was more style over substance. It was more pictures of, here's me looking into the distance and trying to look sexy, but there was no information about the clothes. It's like, well, the garment looks good, but you're not really giving me much to go on. So I think over time, or at least in the last couple of years, people have now become a bit more interested in what this garment can do, or how it fits and what it looks like coming out of the box, etc. Maybe I'm completely late to the game on that, but it does feel like there's been some kind of sea shift, if that's the word, towards that, more informational than style.
And I think the one thing you've got to be very conscious about with style is, depending on if you're emulating a particular bond. I mean, Matt, gravitates to what I call some of the heritage bonds, like, obviously Connery and Roger Moore, of course. But, a lot of people look at Daniel Craig and they go, oh, I want that shirt that he wears, and they get it. And they maybe have small shoulders and wide hips. And they're like, well, hell, Belle, I don't look like Daniel Craig. Don't do it because you're going to look like Daniel Craig. The only person that's going to look like Daniel Craig is Daniel Craig. I mean, we can all get the haircuts and try to be cute and everything like that. But at the end of the day, wear what's comfortable. And by the way, I've been guilty, Matt was being polite earlier, of getting things that were too tight. And I'll never forget, I got this shirt that it felt fine standing up. And as soon as I sat down, it was like, little diamonds, like with hair popping out. I was like, doink, 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 going down. I'm like, F me, really? So just also be comfortable at the same time. All right, here we go. Great question. Here we go. With the casualization, this is Dry Fly Fisher 11, quite a mouthful. With the casualization of today's workplace, do you feel as though Bond going forward will continue down the more casual Daniel Craig path? Nostalgia makes us all want a more formal Bond. And boy, Matt and I have talked about this, but Pete, why don't we start with you? With the trajectory of Daniel Craig's influence, certainly on fashion, but even Bond rolling forward, do you think we're headed down this casual Friday path of Bond?
I think there's only one way to head. And I remember on the podcast, Matt, we had one of your tailor friends, is it David Reeves over in New York?
Right.
And he would always say that Bond, and he's not the only one to say this, but Bond has to reflect the times that he's in. There's no point Bond walking around now in kind of the bell-bottoms Roger Moore's look. No matter how much you and I like it, Matt, it would look a little bit off and a bit skewered. So it has to be representative of the times. And with the casualization of the way that modern society is going, especially with, I mean, I was talking to Anastasia about this the other day. Offices are going to dry up. There's no one going to go out to work probably for another year. They might go to the same office once or twice a week, but there's not going to be like the en masse need for a common workspace anymore. Hot desking's not going to be a thing. So you're going to think, well, when are people actually going to really get to wear suits, maybe for special occasions, but it's going to feel very foreign to them to start wearing suits. And I think you're going to see less and less of that, maybe. I didn't really have a point to the end of that. Sorry.
No, I like that.
No,
I like that. I'll just let it hang there. Just let it hang.
Drift like an EastEnders ending.
Harris?
No, I'll piggyback a little bit off of Pete too. I mean, I think we're probably at the most casualist I think we've ever been as a I'm going to just use the world as an example. I mean, people don't wear suits anymore. People don't get dressed up. Getting dressed up is trying too hard. Wearing jeans and a blazer is dressed up now, instead of just casual, smart casual. And I think that we're headed for more of that, especially like Pete was saying with, less and less people are going into the office probably in the next 12 months, 9 months. Mm-hmm. And I just, it's going to become polos and jeans every day. And I just think we'll have a Bond that again will reflect that in some way. He'll always wear his tuxes, right? But I know a lot of people think that Daniel Craig era has been super casual, but I'll agree to some extent that there has been some really good casual looks. But I think if you look at all of his movies, Daniel Craig's been suited and booted more often than not, and I think that often gets overlooked. And I do. I mean, we're heading probably to a Bond that wears much more casual and maybe puts on a bow tie once every other film.
All right, so let's ask the gentleman that doesn't wear T-shirts out of the house, Matt Spaiser. What do we got ahead of us?
Yeah, with the office, with offices, people have already, it's been for years. So many offices have been dressed down, and so I don't know how much that has to do with people. How much things will change from that now. And I think people are always going to want to dress up. They might dress up for fewer occasions, but I mean, I know my wife loves to dress up, and that will never change. And I'm sure she's not the only woman who's still going to want to dress up. And I think men are always going to need to keep up with women.
Yeah. Oh, I like that.
So there are other
truer
factors.
words have never been spoken.
So women should come first, or not at all, right?
Well, there are other factors in men's clothing. I think there are always going to be factors that make people want to dress up. But I think there's also value in looking into how casual clothing can be more special, because we often think of when we dress down, a lot of people don't put as much thought into their casual clothes,
Right.
but Daniel Craig's Bond does, and I think we're learning how to look at casual clothes as something more special.
I like that. I work, obviously, you guys know, in an agency atmosphere, and you got everything from the creatives walking around in flip-flops and shorts in the winter. And I think it's interesting if I wear something that's a little bit more special, as you're saying, like a shawl collar cardigan. I get compliments all day, I think, because of the dichotomy, the comparison of looking at cargo shorts and sandals. And I think, the 200 people, the 225 people that are on here right now probably have that same mindset. It's like, how do I make something just a little bit more special? Great question from Kevin Rogers. Ready, gentlemen? Kevin Rogers, what brand, not item, what brand would you like to see Bond wear that he hasn't already, and why? Harris, what brand?
Ooh, I'm gonna. Can I pass the buck right now and wait?
Sure, you can. This is a comfortable conversation.
Yeah.
Who wants to take this first?
Well, I'll go. I was thinking about this the other day, actually. One of my favorite brands that I've always bought, even when I was younger and had no style, is a Dutch brand called Scotch and Soda. And I think Daniel Craig wears Scotch and Soda, the jeans. They're obviously an international brand, but they really do last. This is not endorsed by Scotch and Soda, but I had a shirt that I just put in the laundry that I've had for about 10 years and it looks fantastic still. Wow. So I would actually like to see Daniel leverage some of his personal wardrobe from Scotch and Soda and somehow weave that into the films. I think that would be a decent fit.
Nice. Matt?
Yeah, I think I'd like to see some more of more British brands, more heritage British brands we haven't seen on Bond. Maybe like some of the Tailors on Savile Row or off Savile Row, some of the shirt makers on Jermyn Street that Bond has not worn before. There are lots of them. There's like a Bud Shirt Makers is a shirt that they've made shirts for Daniel Craig. I think Bond could wear them. They make some of the best shirts in the world. So there are a lot of great brands that I think that are neighbors to Bond's older brands that sure they'd be great too.
I love it. Harris, did you think of one or you want me to go?
I did.
Right.
There's another TV show that I really like, Ray Donovan. And in this last season, Liev Schreiber brought in Hackett of London. And like you said, Matt, I'm trying to think of something, right, that's not Italian, that's not American, that's something British. The safe answer is to go David Mason. But I think Hackett of London, I think that would be a different look. I think a little less expensive, a lot more affordable for the everyday man that wants to dress well. But it still looks very good. I don't know much about the brand, but I really like the way it looked in the TV show. And it's a British brand, so I'm going that. You guys took the words all right out of my mouth.
Wow.
Oh yeah, Harris. I think Hackett is a great brand, and now they actually do bespoke, so they have that capability, and they're a very capable brand.
Maybe
Nice.
Bond can wear Brooks Brothers.
David,
I'll do one that I guarantee nobody has heard of. I don't even know if they're in business anymore. They're a brand called Good Life, which isn't very attractive nor exotic, but it is a brand that takes cotton and it does something where it actually, you've all heard of obviously, slub cotton and things like that. It stretches it, combs it, and then slubs it. So it's the lightest, thinnest cotton you could ever imagine. They make polos, they make shawl collar cardigans, and these things feel like they're floating on you. They're so light, but they're also great when it's really hot. You don't get the little caterpillar trickle of sweat going down your back because it breathes so well. And I think of Bond, who has to jet set all over the place, who has to fold up things really quickly. Something like Good Life is like that perfect travel clothing. It's a little bit more practical.
Nice.
But this voile shirt I'm wearing from Frank Foster, this fabric is what Roger Moore loved to wear because it actually is so light, so breathable. And Pete's shirt is also made of cotton voile.
Yeah.
Swiss voile.
But
The
Pete,
best kind of voile.
but unlike Pete, Matt, I can see your nipples. Is that a problem? I mean, not for me, but I can see your nipples.
Well, I could see Pete's chest hair. So to each their own. Whatever you like.
Wait a minute.
That was
The
purposeful.
Hubble telescope can see his chest hairs. That's not a unique thing. All right, wait, we digress. We apologize. Daniel Gomez, great question. All panel question. Here we go. How do you decide to purchase a Bond brand item versus a Frugal version of it? Is it based on personal budgeting? How do you make that decision?
Can I go first on this?
You absolutely can.
So it's a good question. I actually did do a Frugal Bond versus actual Bond brand just a couple of weeks ago. I don't know if they really want to hear this, but it was a Benson and Clegg. That was the real one. I didn't get the tie, the Roger Moore tie. I got a very, very close alternative to it, but I'll tell you why. It wasn't so much the money; it was the kind of moral ambiguity that I have with wearing one of those ties whilst not being in the military. I'm perfectly fine with everybody else doing it. It's absolutely their choice. I'm not going to go to that hill and die on it, but it was a choice that I made to go frugal in that moment, buying an alternative to the actual one.
Nice. Matt, what about you?
Yeah, I've done my best now to move away from Frugal Bond items because I guess after just wearing clothes and examining them, and I try to realize, how much what the real stuff what makes it so special. Why is the real item so special? And sometimes maybe the real item isn't all that special. And if the real item is not a very special item, then maybe I can go to a different brand, pay less money, and get something even better.
Yeah.
So that's kind of what I'm looking for. But say for a shirt, and I really want, the Roger Moore shirt, I'm going to go to Frank Foster because there's no one else that can do that in the world.
I love that answer. Harris.
I mean, I think it really does come down to personal preference and personal situation. For me, I look at it, I tend to go more buying the actual brand or the actual item than going frugal. I do have frugal items that, are great that I think my eye, as time has gone on, I can pick better frugal options than I might have 3, 4, 5 years ago. But I think really for me, choosing the actual brand gives you that experience, right? I know, David, you always talk about having that brand experience, which is something I've bought into. Going to Old Bar Brown, going to Sunspell, having a gin and tonic on National Gin Day. There's something about it that you feel like you're supporting that brand and having a piece of that pie, almost like that you're joining in on the club. But I think, at the end of the day, don't do anything you shouldn't do. If you can't go, spend X amount of money because of a budget, don't worry about it. A Navy polo is a Navy polo at the end of the day. It all just depends on what you can and should do versus doing something irresponsible. And, James Bond isn't irresponsible, so do the responsible thing.
Yeah, I like the fact that a lot of the decisions are based on budgetary parameters, and you have to set those. It's important. I mean, for me, it has been about availability. So there have been many times, for example, the Matera jacket that you see, the Connolly one wasn't available at the time. I did the Mangos one. I was happy with the Mangos one. I still have the Mangos one. But then when the Connolly was available, I got it. And it's, more authentic because it's screen accurate, but it doesn't make the Mangos one a horror show either. The Mangos one was and is damn good. My biggest thing is I've had situations, I won't name names, where there are companies and brands out there that will charge luxury prices for an homage to a piece. An homage, I'll say that. But it's not necessarily the most accurate. You could probably go to Target or Kohl's or Primark or some M&S, and get something that's actually more accurate. And there are so many things, especially from the Connery era, that if you're looking for casual luxury items, you can get for relatively inexpensive. So I think the homages are great, but they're not necessarily the most accurate, if that answers the question.
Hey, David, do you mind if I interject before we hit the next question?
Yes.
No, I've had this thought about Frugal Bond, and it's basically something that you said earlier in one of your videos about how you want to wear something and you want to get it stained in a way. You shouldn't be precious about it, no matter how much it costs. You really want to get some mileage out of it. Now, I've always been a little bit skint. I've got a couple of quid in the last bob or two, so I've been able to afford a few nice clothes in the last couple of years. But I've always had that poor man mentality when wearing the clothes. I'm like, oh, I can't get it, can't rub it up against the car, or I can't wear it out. So I've got to be really ginger with it when I wear it out. And I've really, in the last couple of months, just decided to scrap that mentality, just because I'm not enjoying the clothes. You know, I've spent the money on the really nice stuff, and I'm not enjoying it because I'm just kind of walking around wishing I was wrapped in bubble wrap. So now I've just gone, do you know what? If I do get a tear in this, or if I do rub up against a car tire in it, it is what it is. It's life. So I think once people have kind of that release from being precious about their clothes, they might, like me, get to enjoy it a bit more.
I love that sentiment. If there's anything that anybody in the chat room takes away, is that these things are made to be used. I do remember my first most expensive pair of shoes, my first luxury item pair of shoes that I ever got was actually a gift from my employees when I was working at a company. They bought me the Church's Phillips from The World Is Not Enough. And I remember getting these things. Did I get that right, Matt?
No, wait. Which style are you talking about?
The Churches, they're black with the.
Oh, wait. There was the Presley in The World's Not Enough. The monk shoe in The World's Not Enough was the Presley monk.
You're talking the cap toe, I think.
The cap toe from
Goldeneye. From Goldeneye.
No,
right?
no. We're talking about the Quantum of Solace.
No, he's talking. Yeah, Quantum of Solace. Never mind. Not The World Is Not Enough.
The Quantum of Solace.
Why are we on a James Bond style panel right now?
No, but this
gift, though.
This is a Style-A-Thon. This is a marathon, and sometimes people crap their pants, and you got to lift them up past the finish line. Thank you, Matt. Thank you, Matt. So yes, the Quantum of Solace ones, and I remember literally not wearing them for a year. I think I wore them once, and I remember that first day I got a little nick in them, and I was so relieved. As soon as I got a nick in them, I just started wearing them. So whenever I get shoes now, and watches too, I'm almost waiting for that first little blemish to show up so I can go freedom. And I even did a video on this where I had my Tom Ford Quantum of Solace cardigan, and I wound up getting a Frugal version only from the sense that I could eat cheese doodles in them and you know, and not worry about it.
But you know, David.
First of all, you've never eaten cheese doodles a day in your life. So let's.
I held them up at a Target.
But you know, one thing about what I have had some clothes that I clothes that I loved and wore them, and then they wear out, and I'm actually kind of sad because I don't have them anymore. I can't wear them. Like I have this pair of brown monk shoes that I used to wear these all the time. I mean, I wear them probably once a week. I had them resold. I'd really take good care of them, but eventually they came to the end of their life.
Yeah.
Now, I am sad now that I can't wear them anymore. I mean, I still have them. I should probably get rid of them because they're taking up valuable closet space, but I love them.
Can you patch them up, or they're beyond repair?
No, they've just taken such a beating over the years that there's nothing else I can do with them.
Got to cut them loose.
Baby. I gotta go. Yeah. So so sometimes you do get to that point where you have worn it out. You've given them a great life, but it's
you know
sad
what?
to see them go.
Have a Viking funeral. Put them in your bathtub. Light them on fire. Have Jenna wear this like goddess bustier and sing as they burn. Just an idea.
Do you push it out into the sea as well, like on a wood raft, like they do with something out of Star Wars?
The Valkyries. All right, here we go. We got a question from Adrianos17. Question. Matt, you're going first with this one, buddy.
Oh, no.
Was Craig allowed too much input into his wardrobe choices? Fashion faux pas, Spectre desert suit colors, no time to die braces, belt loops. What are your thoughts? Matt, we'll let you go first.
Okay. So we don't know for sure which, where Craig, what Craig decided on, what the costume designers decided on. We do know that Craig has worked with his costume designers very closely. And I think sometimes there are some items that we can see that Craig loves in his personal wardrobe that we do see in the Bond films. And I think he does take them too far. I think, but it seems that is something that Craig really enjoys about being James Bond, is that he does have a say in what he can wear on screen. And I guess if you're a fan of Craig and you like, some people love his clothes, some people don't, but it is good to make the actor happy. I do like that. I do appreciate that they are making him happy, just as other Bond actors in the past had input in their clothes.
Nice. Harris, any thoughts on that?
Speaking from the fan side of it, I will say he does. I will say he has probably too much input in what actually is had. I think No Time to Die so far. Granted, we haven't seen the film and we don't know. There might be where, I know we're all keeping our fingers crossed that there's some clothes we don't know about just yet. But I think this movie definitely so far definitely gives a clear vision into Daniel Craig has so much input in what he does, for good or for bad. But I think he does. I mean, to answer the question, he does. It just depends on whether you like that or not, whether you like his style or not, like Matt said. Not to, brag. I got an opportunity to meet Daniel Craig in a very social situation.
It was such a wedding.
I know. I was thinking about the last Operation
Vesper
Phoenix
Martini
that we did, and I know Vesper Martini and David trying to get me to propose on live camera. He's wearing the J. Crew Spectre boots. 4 years later, he's wearing them, and it's just like it's like that dawned on me that he does. He genuinely does have that say, and that's good, or that's good if you like him, or bad if you don't.
All right.
So the answer to the question is yes.
Yeah. 2 yeses. Any opinion, Pete?
Well, I'd say it's good and bad in a way, because I think through Daniel Craig, it's introduced me to a few brands that I had never heard of until I'd heard of them through his wardrobe and into the Bond wardrobe, consequently. Like Rag and Bone, maybe a good shout. I never heard of him until I saw him wearing them, and then obviously featured a few Henleys in the films. But to caveat that did lead to a very awkward conversation I had in Rag and Bone, where I was in New York and I went into one of the stores and I was doing my super spy mission, going in, saying, let's see what I can find out. Let's get the scoop on this. Put my journalist hat on, went in, had a little mooch around, and one of the assistants came over and said, "Oh, can I help you with anything today?" And then I kind of fudged a few lines and went along with it. Eventually, I just said, "Look, I don't suppose Daniel Craig ever comes in here. I heard he's a patron of the store." And she just said yes, turned on her heel, and walked away.
Oh, wow.
Right in front of
then.
Anastasia. I said, "Well, I guess I deserved that." She saw through me from minute one. So, yeah, that was a moment.
That was fun. All right. Well, listen, it is 3:00. We've been talking for an hour, taking some questions. We're going to still take questions, but we're going to play a little bit of a game. And you get to play, everybody in the chat room, and also share your opinion. So we've asked the panelists, or I've asked the panelists, a series of questions about their preference on some of the Bond style. They have not seen the other person's answer, okay? So what we're going to do is, and you can do this as well, what we're going to do is we're going to show the title. You'll see it in a second. I'll share it. In fact, let me just share the screen so we make sure that this is working. All right.
Oh, nice. Oh, that looks so cool.
Perfect.
Look at those fine gentlemen.
Yeah, those are semi-looking people.
Wait,
so
I don't recognize all of them.
Some chest hair coming from Pete there.
Oh, chest hair game.
First of all, I thought we were in lockdown. Why are the four of us traveling all to these different places?
Big Ben does not look like that right now.
There's something very wrong.
It sure doesn't.
All right, so here we go. We are going to start off, and again, we want everybody in the chat room to play along. What we're going to do is we're going to start with the first one. You think we're going to, at least. Here we go. Favorite relaxed Bond look. And the first one we're going to start with is Matt Spaiser. So out of all of the favorite relaxed Bond looks that Bond has had in the entire series, what do we think Matt has picked? So people in the chat room, play along. What do you think Matt has picked? Or people in the chat room, tell us your favorite relaxed Bond look. So Pete and Harris, you guys get to play. Matt doesn't get to play yet, but favorite relaxed Bond look. Which one do you think Matt chose?
Harris, I think he alluded to the Sunspell shirt earlier on Daniel.
I've seen
Craig.
Connery's polos, camp shirts, live and let die pajamas.
But he also really does love the blue
decisions.
powder leisure suit that Roger Moore wore in Live and Let Die. I know he rhapsodized.
Hey, Pete, are you giving away your choice now?
Pete,
I've
you
seen
have
dressing
to,
gown from John Nichols.
You have to take Matt into consideration, right? No t-shirts allowed. So Matt's version of relax would be different than most people's.
Guys, remember we have to close before 9 o'clock tonight, so I need an answer.
Yeah, let's go Sunspell Polo. Let's go Sunspell Polo.
Sunspell Polo. Well, actually, we have somebody in the chat room guess it correctly.
Oh, there it is. Oh, well done.
Ooh.
Oh, that's such a good shout. Gentlemen, I'm just going to nip to the loo. I'll be right back. That's just too exciting for me.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I'll be
So
right
Pete's
back.
he's gonna miss his own one, but
I'd like to thank Pete for taking that picture.
Yeah, I think
is that right?
Pete's choice is next.
Very nice. Very nice. All right. So next we actually have Harris. So Matt, you actually are the sole player. What look do you think Matt Harris chose? And also in the chat room, what do you think Harris chose?
I feel like for Harris, I'm gonna have to go with Daniel Craig for everyone. I mean, chances are I'm guessing most of his choices are going to be Daniel Craig choices, and maybe it's the I really picture him liking that. I picture Harris liking the enjoying death look from Skyfall.
Oh, nice. Yes. Yeah.
Pete, what about you, man? That was a quick pee, by the way.
I know. Well, the toilet's right there, and I've only got a tiny bladder. It holds a hummingbird's beak.
We got a couple things. Goldfinger from the Fountain Blue. They think you're going to be. Casino. We've got Casino Royale balcony look. Rag and Bone Henley DC cardigan for Harris's casual look.
So,
We're going to recreate that Fountain Blue look soon.
Let's take a look. Oh, what on earth? He chose naked. Harris, you want to explain this?
Okay,
I'm not seeing it.
Okay.
Oh, there we go.
Oh, that one.
Oh, the chest hair. Fantastic.
Oh, all right. Let's be honest with ourselves here. What's more James Bond style than relaxed in a tub on the phone, reading a magazine with a martini next to you? I mean, come on. And you're in Vegas for goodness sakes. Like, there's nothing more James Bond style than that. And I'm dropping the mic right there.
That's pretty good.
All right, guys. We've got Pete Brooker. What casual look did he pick? Do you think? Also, keep playing at home. Pete Brooker's casual look.
Well, I'm just guessing the powder blue leisure suit from Live and Let Die, because he mentioned that before, and I know that is one of his favorites. Although it could also be the A View to a Kill, the tracksuit. The Fila tracksuit. But what do you think, Harris?
Yeah, I'm going tracksuit. I'm going tracksuit based on prior podcast episodes and photos. I'm going tracksuit.
Chat room is lighting up. Definitely, they think NPL, On Her Majesty's Secret Service look. Die Another Day, checking into Hong Kong. That's a good one. There we go.
Damn it, that should have been mine. There we go.
Oh,
nice.
Slazenger.
Yeah,
that's a wonderful choice, Pete.
Thanks, pal. I was hoping you'd like that. I've been because I went over the questions ahead of time, and I was listening to the audio book of Goldfinger, and it was who said that it's like 37 pages of golf, and it's only like 9 minutes on screen or something like that. In the book, at least. And honestly, it's just fantastic. It's like the way it's written. I don't really care for golf, but Bond's inner monologue is exactly my inner monologue when I play sports. Like, I won't use his cursory words, but it's like, yeah, take that, and yeah, see if you can get out of that one. Yeah, I'm like, yeah, that's brilliant. So that was my look.
All right, guys, what do you think my casual look was? I chose one.
I think camp collar shirts are David's preference.
Yeah,
one of the Thunderballs.
Thunderballs.
Something Thunderball.
His second.
Something Thunderball.
But
maybe it's what he's wearing right now.
Maybe the Venice, arriving in Venice, shawl collar cardigan look. I know he likes that.
Could be. Here we
So
should we take a look? We've got a couple good guesses. Goldfinger terry cloth, Goldfinger. Wow, a lot of Goldfinger.
Wow.
Casino Royale arriving in Miami. That's
David,
a good one too.
the chat room really thinks you're a terry cloth onesie kind of guy.
Hey, well, they're right. But in this case,
Hey, that's the one I meant.
Oh.
No, that's kind of the one I meant.
the Mathis one, I love that look. That is just to me, it's just
Strong.
and it still was when Bond was dressing very classic, just kind of something you would definitely wear.
Definitely.
Yeah.
That is a ringer.
All right, gang.
Do you guys think, David, do you think that look that you picked could easily be one of the most iconic, if not the most iconic outfit Daniel Craig's worn in his entire era so far?
Oh, I think so. I think it's launched.
There's something about it, right? There's
1,000 different versions of this.
Oh,
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's very influential.
All right, let's move on. Let's change it up. We went from casual, now we're talking really formal. So again, we're gonna start off with Matt Spaiser every single time. So in the chat room, think about Matt's choices in life and what do we think Matt chose for his formal look? And Pete and Harris, what do you think? What formal look do you think that he chose?
Oh,
I got it, Pete.
You go for it.
I got it, Pete. I got it. We're gonna hit a home run here. A View to a Kill, St. John Smythe, white tux jacket, black tie. Oh, you just wait. I don't know, but I feel pretty good about it.
I'm getting on the chat room a ton of Dr. No tuxes. I mean, there's a couple Skyfall ones in there and a couple white dinner jackets, like from the Bond Armory.
I just
Kyle B
picture
says
Matt
a Thunderball
in France.
tuxedo.
I think Matt wants to throw us curveballs, so he will talk about
I
those.
know.
Dr. No
I just
ones till the cows come home,
picture
but the
Matt
View to a
in
Kill is a good
France
show.
sipping on champagne with his lovely wife on his arm, walking around.
Yeah, let's have a look.
Let's take a look. All right.
Where did he go? Where was his head at?
Oh,
There it is. I knew it. Oh, he played the
it
reverse
seems the audience
psychology
was right.
card. Yeah.
Wow.
Matt, what are you
Matt-
looking at there in that picture?
What I'm looking at? Oh,
Yeah.
there's a really nice tree.
Right.
Ah.
Got it.
I thought it was nice.
I've just always been curious.
All right, gang. What do we think? So Pete and Matt, what do we think Harris chose as far as a formal look?
I think it's more recent. What do you think?
Probably the
Matt?
Skyfall midnight blue dinner suit.
Yeah. The most, I'd say it's definitely Craig. I don't know though, but we both, I think Harris appreciates the quantum wardrobe. So perhaps something from there. Anyway.
Here we go. Let's take a
Oh.
look.
Look
You
at
nailed
that.
it.
Yeah, I got it.
Is.
I mean, come on.
Did it?
Because I know that Harris got a copy made. So
I mean, come on. Come
Yeah,
on.
very good. And by the way,
We all wanna look
everybody
like that.
everybody on the chat room guessed Skyfall almost hands down.
It's because
So-
the chat
me,
room
not-
is smarter. They're smart. They're very smart people.
they're
Well, let's see
smarter
how
than Pete,
smart
you're
they
saying.
are. Let's see how smart they are. Let's see what they guessed for Pete. So Harris and Matt, what do you think Pete chose?
I mean, I'm guessing that he chose the On Her Majesty's Secret Service formal look that he's wearing.
Ooh.
Wow.
I don't know.
Wow.
That's fair and all.
It's hard to argue that. I don't really know what to come up with other than that. Let's go with that one.
What did I go for? Oh yeah, nice.
That's not
What
a formal
view.
look, Pete.
That's formal for me. If I turned up in that, I'll be formal.
That's casual
Wow.
for me.
Well,
Shots fired, everybody. Shots fired. Shots fired. Look out, chat room.
that is a formal look. I mean, he's
It's
not
very
turning up in a denim jacket there, is he?
No.
That's Roger Moore dressed down. He's not wearing a tie.
That's not Roger
Listen,
Moore dressed down.
you-
Roger
you
Moore wore
kids-
that throughout his life.
You kids behave or I'll turn this car right around. All right.
That's Roger
Not-
Moore when he wakes up on a Saturday and he's rolling to the market to get a coffee.
So guys, for me, formal look.
Maybe the same thing I chose.
Let's have a
Yeah.
look, see.
Go same thing I chose. Daniel
I'd
Craig
say
Skyfall.
yeah.
Oh yeah.
Ah,
You would be
Two
correct,
for
sir.
two.
David, it almost looks like that suit is the exact same suit that's in that poster.
Mm.
Oh no, it's
Almost.
that suit looks like it's a cross between the Skyfall and the Quantum dinner suits. It's a cross between the two. It's half and half. So that's
It's
a great
lighting.
look.
It's amazing what lighting does.
Looks like a game show that you're on there. That's fantastic.
And David, if I remember correctly, that background almost looks like the last trip we took this year.
Yes. And you would be right. Good old headboard. I'll never forget it. All right, here we go. Favorite suited look. We're back to Matt Spaiser. We've got to hear, Justin says, duh, as far as my pick. Favorite suited look. So Harris and Pete, what do you think Matt chose for his favorite suit out of the series? So many to pick from.
Well, he loved Connery for this. I think it's got to be Glenn Check.
Gotta be Glenn Check, right? It's gotta be Glenn Check.
Well,
It's not
let's
Glenn
see what
Check,
everybody thinks.
He knows it.
Some of the guesses are
It's
coming.
in.
Let's take a look. Oh.
Ah.
I figured I'd wear this outfit today.
Wow. Wow.
So Matt, you got to tell the audience where that's from.
Well, so this is Roger Moore's wearing this blue suit from Cyril Castle, and I'm wearing my Mason and Sons. It's not an exact copy. I had it made with one button. It's exactly what I'm wearing today. And I mean, to me, I have a few different favorites, but this one is one of my favorites because when I got this suit, I just thought about getting. I mean, this suit has always been one of my favorites, and I was like, I want a suit very much like this one, so I went for it. But the Glenn Check suit has never been one of my all-time favorites. It's never been in like my top 3. It's a great suit, but it's that's never one I choose as a favorite.
Wow.
Nice.
Well, it's first of all, it's one of Roger Moore's. I think Live and Let Die, Man with the Golden Gun are some of Roger's best suited looks. And Matt, what in the world are you looking at? That's what I'm
Is
curious
that another
about.
tree up there?
Oh no,
the tree?
there was a bird flying above.
All right, gang.
One of the John Glenn pigeons.
We gotta click through this. Here we go. So what do we think Harris chose? Pete and Matt?
Oh, is it the gray shark skin suit from Skyfall?
I think, yeah. Oh, he's gone recent. Nice.
I have to, guys. I have to.
It's all
Purely
about the
because David and I mean, I've seen, David knows this. I've seen David's suit that Tom Ford was so nice enough to send him for review. I love a Glenn Check. I think the color is more me. I like dark colors. I know I haven't seen it on camera yet, so I have no idea how it's really going to look. But right now, that's what I'm jonesing for. I want it so bad, so bad.
Yeah, it's a great one.
What do you guys think about me? What suit did I choose?
Well, I think it's going to be the gray Glenn Check from No Time to Die, just because that one.
Oh,
wait, what happened?
Hey, we got a sneak preview.
I skipped. I forgot that it's Pete's. Well, there we go.
David, you're right. You're darn right. Look at that. That is a thing of beauty.
The Moonraker look.
Yeah. So, I mean, people always say, look, you shouldn't have Bond looking so inconspicuous going through a carnival. Of course he's going to stand out. He's a spy. Look, it's like shining a torch on him. I say, not my Bond. I want my Bond to look like that in every carnival, in every bar that he goes to. I don't care if the game's up. He's like, oh, yeah, he's definitely Bond. Look at him dressed. That's how you
look like Roger Moore every day.
Yeah. Look at that color on the right.
All right. And the one I meant to build to is this one.
Oh, yeah.
No, I got it.
Well done. Well done. And I think, you know what? I don't know if this is my favorite suit of the series, but because it's now and it's so new and it's like sunk into my head. And Harris, it's just like you. It's in the moment. Like in the moment, This is my favorite suit. Tomorrow might be a different suit. I don't know.
Right.
Looks good, man. Love it.
All right. Your favorite one item. Now, let me tell everybody at home how we're playing this one. I went to these fine gentlemen, and you could play along in the chat room. And I said, out of all your Bond sartorial gear, what is your favorite item? You know, that thing that if the house was on fire, you'd make sure that your dogs and cats and, you know, wives and children were out of the house, but then you would grab this. And so what do we think Matt grabbed? What's his favorite one item?
A Turnbull and Esser navy grenadine tie.
Holy cow, that's specific.
Yeah, I don't know if you really want to be schlepping suit bags out of a burning building, so it'll have to be small. It's the same one.
Oh,
yeah.
It's this thing back here.
Oh, Matt, is that the wedding suit?
Yeah, it's what I wore to my. It's what I wore for my wedding.
Yes,
See?
of course. It's like a
Look
logical.
right down the.
Lucky
I wish I
man.
could look at a camera like that. You look down the barrel of this camera, looking right. It's almost like you're looking right through.
It almost looks like that pigeon that he was looking at before just took a little break on the camera there, and he just was looking at it like, "How dare you?"
What did Harris choose? What did Harris choose?
It's a
hard one.
Harris.
Man.
Harris, your Fleming painting on the wall.
Ooh,
You're
smart
gonna go
man.
for that
Going
first.
after my heart there. Going after my heart.
Oh,
right.
he's gone for the guitar.
Harris, you're gonna have to explain this one.
All right. So I know when you were giving the rules, you said a sartorial item, but I will have to tell you that I'll give up any sartorial item for this guitar. It does go back to how I got into James Bond. I don't broadcast this too much, but when I was 17, 18, I worked for Chris Cornell during his solo time. After You Know My Name, he was doing his solo tour with an album that he had done, and I worked for his guitar player. And they knew I was a big James Bond fan, and we did, several months worth of shows. And that is the guitar that was used for You Know My Name live for countless shows. It's been played all around the world. And on my 18th birthday, I was given that, not knowing I was getting it, by Chris Cornell himself. And it was just, I could cry right now thinking about it. It means more to me than anything in the world. That really blends my love of Bond and love of music, and 10 times better than any piece of clothing in the world.
Great.
Look at that hair, though. Look at that hair.
That is a monster.
I love it.
Hair.
All right, so what do we think Pete chose? Is it a puzzle?
I wish I put my drum kit in now from anyway, sorry.
Matt, any clue?
No, I mean maybe it's just that it's the Overbar Brown toweling blouson. I mean,
do love
although he'd already be wearing it though.
There he is.
Oh,
Frank Foster
there
shirt.
it is.
Right down
Look
the
at that
middle.
lace. Look at that
Hiding
lace.
in plain sight.
Oh,
Nice.
Well, I'm
And
so
again,
glad
a
I get
part
to
of
do
that,
these.
Pete, has got to be that it's new and it's fresh and it's wonderful to you, right?
Yeah, and this is like the first thing bespoke shirt-wise anyway that I had made, and by the same hands, I should say, that made the laser shirt on the right. And the fact
What
that,
a collar. What
It
a
is.
collar.
It's
What
no,
a
it's a thing
collar.
of beauty, and I'm so glad that I get to do these panels, because otherwise it would still be sitting in the cellophane right now. So this is a good chance to get it to breathe. So thank you, gents.
All right, guys, what's my one item? My fire-saving item?
Casino Royale Planet Ocean.
No, it's the leather jacket from Casino Royale, isn't it? Yes, thank you.
Oh, you got it. Wow.
Pete nailed it. And by the way, I think Jerome on the chat, a couple people nailed it as well. So I think I actually said that in one of my interview things. So somebody remembered.
Me.
Thank you. Well
Shout
done.
out to
All right.
Jerome.
We're clicking along. Here we go. Favorite shirt. Matt's favorite shirt. Come on, Pete. You know this.
Oh, I know. It's a Casino Royale, the waffle weave, white on white waffle weave from Casino Royale. Turnbull and Asser.
All right,
Yeah, there it is.
Thank you. That's what I was talking about earlier. That's
not
exactly
Casino
what I
Royale.
was
That's not
I got that
Casino
right
Royale.
here.
If there ever isn't a picture of Roger Moore that doesn't look like Roger Moore at his finest,
That is
come
phenomenal.
on.
Is that a Voile shirt?
This is voile. You can see right through it.
Yes,
No,
you can. I can
not-
see you,
not
Matt.
exactly.
I can see you. Nope, I can see right through it. I can see right
But
through
Although
it.
I had a hard time because I also have the blue Live and Let Die shirt that Roger Moore wears in New York, a copy of that from Frank Foster, and with the fly front and the cocktail cuffs. And to me, this is also a very special shirt because it's something that Roger Moore wore only a few blocks from where I live.
So J-Boy on the chat says it's the Seinfeld puffy shirt.
Ooh. Shout out to Matt for getting 2 answers there, by the way. I'm just
that was
leave
good.
that there.
All right.
I like it.
So what do we think for Harris? Harris's favorite shirt.
Do you think it's the one he's wearing?
It could be the one he's wearing, the tab
Tom
collar
Ford.
Skyfall.
I tell you, you guys
No.
think I'm a Daniel Craig fanboy. You tell me something that is more James Bond and more iconic and more classic for everything, which is a bespoke white poplin dress shirt with cocktail cuffs from Turbo.
Have they released a Mr. Harris Thomas line?
We're working on that. We're working
Clearly
on
they
that.
have.
We're working on that. COVID has put severe delays on that.
All right. Pete's favorite shirt.
It's the one he's wearing. I mean, it's got to be obvious.
Are we getting back to back?
No.
Oh, have a look at that beaut. So
Ooh.
I was between about 4 or 5, oddly. But when you close your eyes and you think of James Bond shirts, this is like one of the most iconic images for me. The back-to-back with that Nailhead Island in the background there, and this gets a lot of airtime. So he's going all the way around the palace in this shirt. And
that's
having
a great
him
one.
in front of that. And also, there's some really good still frames of the cuff there. And
actually, you know, Pete. Oh, sorry.
Sorry.
I was just going to say.
Go ahead, Matt.
Okay, so I want to say, actually, this shirt when I went to Frank Foster for the first time, this was my first choice of that I wanted. I wanted, a cream poplin shirt with the cocktail cuffs from them, just like this. And so this is actually something important to me too, Pete.
Nice.
Nice, right?
Guys, my shirt.
Please. Oh, dang. Oh, it could be. Do you think it has to be Turnbull and Nasser? I know that David's had a few Turnbull and Nasser ones done. Not so
I'm going blue Turnbull and Nasser Tomorrow Never Dies.
Can I tell you, Harris, that was my pick. I literally had the slide built and then I changed it last minute.
Oh,
wow.
I didn't know Largo looked that good.
Just
the Largo look.
I love that shirt. It's so comfortable. I think we all love that. It's just, I don't know. It's just my casual self.
It's a great one.
That is beautiful.
All right. Favorite shoes. Let's click along this one. So what do we think? What do we think for Matt's favorite shoes?
I think
we got to go into speed round now, guys.
Crooked Jones.
Speed.
No, John Lobb. Diamonds Are Forever.
You're actually close, Pete. So, I don't know who made the Connery shoes there. My shoes are from John Lobb on the left.
Beautiful.
Those are from John Lobb. Those are.
How old are they? They're not the ones falling apart, right?
No. I haven't worn those ones enough. I should wear them more.
What do we think Harris's is? His is.
I think it's got to be Daniel Craig. It's got to be Crockett and Jones.
One of the Crockett and Jones shoes.
Of course.
Oh, the Tetberries.
It's the only one that you guys have picked correctly. I just want to take that for the record.
Yeah.
So I'm going to go out. I'm going to go out on a limb and actually tell people do not even try to guess Pete's because you won't get it.
Can I try to guess it?
Sure.
Some sandals from Thunderball.
I wonder if they. Oh,
there they are.
The crocodile shoes.
Oh yes,
the crocodile shoes.
The ones he told Guy Hamilton. Don't you think it's ironic that I'm wearing crocodile shoes as he runs across them?
Now,
it's a great choice.
Mine you might get.
It's a Crockett and Jones pair. I mean, I know you.
That is correct.
I know you like the Highbury shoes a lot. Could be those. Unless it's one of the pairs of boots from the Daniel Craig films.
Boy, Matt, you're good.
Is he? How close?
Yeah, he's doing great.
How's his aim? Oh, yeah.
The boots. That's the Islay boots, right?
Yeah, Sky.
Yeah.
Nice.
Very nice.
Yeah.
You guys are good at
all
this.
about those. Forgotten all about those. They look great.
All right, favorite accessory. Matt's favorite accessory. I think you
Here's-
could get this, Pete.
Favorite
Let's see if
accessory.
people in the chat room can get it.
It's got to be a tie, right? It's gotta
Gotta be,
black,
right?
Black knitted tie of some kind.
Not a black knit. It's got to be a navy knit or navy grenadine, Turnbull and Asser. I mean, something. Thank you.
Harris.
Navy grenadine.
You didn't even hear the
Thank
question.
you.
That was amazing, Harris. Well, both of
Home
you
run,
guys got
baby.
it.
That was
Oh,
good.
All right, what do we
Thank
think
you.
Harris's favorite accessory is? And I'll give you
Oh,
a hint.
gosh.
He actually said it earlier today.
I
Did
did.
he say
It
the
was on the
Benson
brain.
Clegg tie bar?
Mm.
Was it that?
Oh no,
or-
no, the
No, was
money.
it his chain
clip.
wallet. Was it?
The money clip.
Matt got
He
it.
said,
Well done,
Nudges.
Matt's. I think if this was a game show, Matt would have like 150,000 already.
mm.
Yeah, I'd be winning.
Frank-
Yeah, the newlywed game.
Frank Foster
but-
shirts for everyone.
Can you guys get Pete's favorite accessory?
Ooh.
I have one, but it's not appropriate for
I
this call.
can't. Again, the Zoom chat after all.
I think Pete's chest hair is his favorite accessory.
Oh, very good.
Ugh.
There,
Oh,
there
the
we go.
roller.
And look, you can see the saw on it a little bit closer up there. Nice.
Yeah,
I love
nice
that.
little buzzsaw action.
That's a
Yeah,
beautiful watch.
You got to.
I think it's cool that we both talked about our favorite
Yeah.
accessory without realizing that we did.
Jonathan Softcott would like that.
But
one.
guess what, guys? Here's a little hint. I did not talk about my accessory. What do you think mine is?
Mm.
Oh, it's another watch.
Is
I don't
it
e-
a Walter
I don't even-
PPK?
I don't even know if you could call it an accessory, but I squinted a little bit.
Maybe a mask.
Sunglasses?
Mask.
No.
Oh,
The
nice.
Globetrotter.
Yeah,
I love that thing.
Nice.
It's
Yeah,
in my
that
room so
counts,
I could
yeah.
stare at it.
that's quite cool.
I
Hey,
can
apparently
speak
the-
to
clothing
how
accessory,
beautiful
yeah.
that thing looks.
David, maybe you might be able to. Apparently, the new Globetrotter launch. I don't know if I should be saying this, but I heard it. I don't know if it's true. The new Globetrotter cases don't even fit into an Aston Martin DBS.
Oh, I didn't hear about that.
Ooh.
Do you know someone? I don't know if I should be saying it, but Daniel Boyle, if he's out on the chat here, maybe he might help.
He's there.
Yeah, he might be able to clarify that.
Yeah. You mean the Danny Boyle who quit? Yeah, he's
That
here.
Danny boy, yeah.
Yeah, he's watching. He's watching.
All right, here we go. Last category, sneaky mission bond. So I went to the guys and I said, Bond on a mission or Bond just sneaking around? You know, one of those things, mission commando type thing. What do we think Matt's sneaky mission Bond outfit is of his choice?
I think it's.
I bet you
the
the people in the
wetsuit.
chat will get this.
Maybe a
Yeah, let's
Moonraker
look-
because he loves Moonraker. Harris. It's got
Right.
the
right.
one where he's sneaking around in the chateau. Oliver Brown just released one, didn't they? So,
Mm.
although I doubt it. Now that I'm at a loss.
Was that the was that the Matt Spaiser police siren that always happens?
Hey,
Yeah.
Matt, that looks fantastic.
Thanks.
Thunderball.
Yeah, so I'm wearing that's the
Wonderful.
Oliver Brown version, and then my trousers are made by Niven Tailors, the Cavalry Twill. I just love this because it's that kind of outfit that's so versatile. Now, Pete, I actually almost chose the Moonraker. That
You did.
Moonraker outfit, 'cause I love that one too. But to me, that's not something that I can wear as easily. This
You wouldn't be able to sneak around in that chateau in that one. Is that what you're saying?
Yeah, I mean, this is something I wanted to. I wanted this because it's something that I could just. It's an easy outfit to wear, and that's why I chose it.
Nice.
Mm.
What do we think Harris chose? Sneaky mission Bond.
Is it the barber from Skyfall?
Oh,
That's a mission Bond outfit.
Is it?
Tell
Is it
you,
the
you
the
guys-
wetsuit from Goldfinger when he comes out of the water? Oh,
Oh
great shout, Harris.
wow!
Oh, that's
That's a good one.
The reversible.
poor Harris.
Yeah.
Harris, they just think you're like 2006 and beyond.
Oh, it's hilarious. You know what? Who
This is an
doesn't-
attack
again,
on poor Harris.
it might be an attack, but you're all getting destroyed because who doesn't want a mustache put on them by
Yeah.
a lovely female?
Oh yeah. So that's in Bond in
Yeah.
Motion, by the way. That actual
Yeah.
reversible.
All right. So what do we think? What do you think Pete chose?
Oh.
Fingers on buzzers.
I have no idea what Pete Peter chose for this one.
You'll love this, Matt. You'll love this one. Oh, and Harris, you'll love it.
Oh,
There it
of
is.
course.
Oh,
Thanks.
of course.
How
I
could
guess
you
that
forget?
is a
There
sneaky,
somewhere.
yeah.
He's sneaking the heck out of that chateau in the
tracksuit.
in the
Oh,
tracksuit
yeah.
there.
All right,
Surprised,
guys.
Pete, you haven't
what,
turned into that
what do we
yet.
think for me?
Ooh.
I'm gonna go Goldfinger. I'm gonna go Goldfinger.
Maybe it's the Thunderball, the other Thunderball one with the black on black.
You know what I like about this show that we're doing? You think Harris is all Daniel Craig and he's been like everything but, and you think I'm everything but Daniel Craig and I've been only Daniel Craig, which is kind of cool.
Oh, yeah.
Oh.
He's sneaking and look, he's being caught
Yeah.
there. He didn't sneak well enough in that thing.
He did a poor job sneaking is what he
Yeah.
did.
He's
Wow.
got to
Someone
sneak
caught
in.
him.
Yeah. Great.
That was fun.
Who
What a
won?
fun little
You know what? I think the
We
chat
all
room
won.
won.
Yeah.
chat room. Way to
Chat
go,
room
chat
won.
room. Thanks for
Good.
sticking out today on a Saturday with everybody.
Thanks.
I think definitely the chat room is the winner there. So, gentlemen, you know, as I look at the four of us, you know, I think this has been really good conversation. We're going to actually keep it going. We're going to change it up a little bit because and by the way, we're not talking Star Wars. Pete, this is the Baby Yoda I got, by the
Oh,
way.
there you go.
Whoa.
I just had to show that. Pete was like, "Where's the Baby Yoda? Look at that full-size Baby Yoda. This is the way, Baby Yoda, Baby Yoda, Baby Yoda." We're gonna subtle. We're gonna
Wow.
change things up a little bit here, and we've been talking, the four of us, for a bit. Keep the questions coming because we want to absolutely keep your questions. But you know something, we're gonna hit the hotline and see if we can enlarge this
Hey.
party a little bit.
Hey.
Crikey. Daniel, you look
Daniel.
fantastic.
Daniel Gaster.
We have Daniel
Gaster.
Gaster that just entered in here. Daniel, how are you today?
I'm good, thank you. How are you?
Good. Can you first of all, you look sharp as hell. Obviously, you're about to go to bed.
Yeah, late. This is my these are my pajamas.
Well, what are you wearing?
So this is the suit is a Mason and Sons special order, resembling the Spectre suit. The tie and the shirt are Tom Ford, as is the handkerchief there. So this is a special suit for me because I had this made for my wedding.
Oh, Christine.
That's beautiful. It turned out perfectly.
Thank you. So what I did, I was trying to go with sort of mixture of Daniel Craig, a little bit of Sean Connery, but also thinking about what Lazenby wore for his wedding. So I actually matched this with a grey pair, grey and black striped morning suit trousers, and then I had a Tumble and Asser grenadine tie for the wedding.
Yeah, I love it.
Hey, Daniel,
Nice.
did anyone from the wedding go, oh my God, that's a suit that, you know, such and such wore and the trousers from such and such?
No, but they all expected me to wear an evening suit and to wear a bow tie.
Well, Daniel, you're going to be in good order because we are opening up the party room a little bit to some of our other friends so they can also kind of describe what they've put together. Daniel, where are you calling from, though?
I'm calling from, I'm somewhere between Cambridge and Northampton.
Nice. And so real quickly, but we always are fascinated with, you know, why do people get into style to begin with? And we've all seen, you know, you do a lot with hashtag Bond25 Fitness Challenge. You like to try to stay in shape. I follow you. What got you into the style, kind of the look of Bond?
I think it from an early age. I always remember my father coming home from work and he always wears suits. He wasn't particularly fond of suits or anything like that, but it was something that always resonated with me. And then when I sort of started work at 16, I actually started in retail and I had to wear a suit for working in those shops. So I was able to get a multitude of different suits early on, and I had to keep changing them based on the style at the time.
That makes perfect sense. So you're hooked. You're hook, line, and sinker.
Yeah. So when I sort of started working, actually started working for my dad, I actually started buying more professional suits at a time where suits were sort of going out of trend. I mean, you mentioned it earlier about the sort of more the casual look, and I kept getting saying you don't have to wear a suit and tie, but I think I am a tie person. I do like to wear a tie, and even where I work now, if we do go back to an office sort of environment, I still wear a suit and a tie to work, and not a lot of people do that.
Yeah, that looks great, man. Hey, stay in the party room because we're going to like open up the party pretty big. We're going to go to another friend of ours, but thank you so much for coming on.
No problem.
All right, we're going to go to Jovanni. We're going to spotlight his video. Jovanni, how are you today?
Good. How are all of you?
Hey, Jovanni.
Hey.
Hey, man. Hey.
Doing
Great to see you.
What are you
Good to see
wearing?
you guys.
Looking great. Looking great.
Thank you.
What are you wearing?
So I am wearing a Brooks Brothers Golden Fleece dinner suit. Got it much lower than retail price, obviously, because I can't afford $2,100 quite yet. The shirt is from Proper Cloth. Tie is Cordial Churchman. Pocket square is from our mutual friend, John Broughton.
Hey.
And I'm also wearing a Brooks Brothers cummerbund. Let me get up a little. 1 second.
Sure.
Oh.
Oh, wonderful. I love it.
Nice.
Nice.
Oh, and the braces too, I see.
Oh yeah, those are Albert Thurston.
Yeah, the real thing.
The real thing.
Nice. Matt, what do you think of this?
Yeah, I love it. I mean, it's great to see, just this Bond black tie being such an influential look. And so many people get black tie wrong, and it's great to see how Bond teaches us how to do it right.
Absolutely.
And
Nice work.
I think Jovanni did it beautifully.
Jovanni, we got to ask you the same question. What pulled you, why are you heading towards the corner of the style aspect of Bond?
Mainly because I started rewatching the Bond films when I was like 17, 18, something like that. And then I'm like, God damn, he is so stylish all the time. What makes him so stylish? So I started doing a lot of research. I got a lot of it wrong. I didn't find out a lot of the correct stuff until I started reading, Matt's blog. And I really started getting it right a few years later. And yeah, the rest is history. I've definitely just wanted to be as cool and confident as him. And yeah.
Love it.
Great work, man.
Well, hang out in the
That's
party room
great.
for sure. That's fantastic. All right. So as you can see, we've got a couple more people coming in here. We're going to actually go to what I see is a casual Bond. So let me spotlight video this gentleman right here. Let me take you off mute. I think you're off mute. How are you?
Hello. I'm very good, thank you. I've been enjoying the live stream.
Oh, good. You want to introduce yourself and let us know what you're wearing?
Yes, I'm SK. I do a very subtle Bond account called Inspired by Bond on Instagram. And I am wearing the View to a Kill leather on.
Knockout, mate. That is fantastic. Let me get a picture of them. Hold on.
By James Bond or James Bond, I'm not too sure, but that's the very casual look that the more does at the very end of it.
That's fantastic. Pete, what do you think of this? This is right up your alley.
Oh, yeah, mate. Listen, we're going to go out for a beer after that, and then I'm going to nick that jacket. Sorry. I need that filter between my mind and what I'm saying.
Wait. Ace, are you able to stand up so we can see it better?
Yeah, sure. So the jacket in all its glory.
Oh, man.
Yeah,
That looks
look at
incredible.
Oh, I love
Oh,
that.
yeah.
That's fantastic.
Just the Invisible
my
Kill
God.
jacket and the button-down shirt.
That
Yeah.
looks really
We
good.
can't hear him speak now, but
We should all go home. Like
So
this
the original
is
of this,
great.
Matt, I think, and David, perhaps you'll know. I think the original's in the Deezer collection, right, out in Miami, because I saw.
Wait, they had this one, or did they have the other one?
I'm trying to. Maybe I think it was this one. We'll
Well, I
have to
thought
go
they
back
had-
to the other.
I think
book.
I thought they had the other one, the suede one, but maybe they did have this one. But yeah, it's
Anyway.
beautiful.
That
Someone will
is a
correct
trip.
it. Nicely done. Really well done. That's awesome.
Thanks
right,
for
we're
joining
gonna-
us.
Yeah, absolutely. We're going to go into the room. Let's see. Did I just cancel the spotlight? Hold on. Yeah, there we go. I got to do this right. I got to make sure everything's done right. All right. So, you know something, we've got to give everybody a fair shot here. So we've got Spency here, and I see a Vesper Love Knot. Let me spotlight you first and definitely unmute you. Why is this not unmuting? Spency, can you unmute yourself? Is that possible?
Can she hear us?
This work? I
Oh,
can
there
hear
she is.
you.
Ah, we can hear.
Perfect.
Oh, you can.
Excellent.
Oh, you know why? Because there we go.
There I am.
I think I just
Hey.
spotlighted you. How are you?
I'm wonderful. How is everybody?
Good,
Wow.
good, good. We always, last time we saw you, you were wearing something from Domino, right?
Yes, I was wearing a Domino inspired outfit, and today I'm wearing a Vesper Lind original.
Nice.
Essentially,
Oh.
I decided to go with the Vesper look because it's one of the most like captivating when it comes to what somebody thinks of when they think of a Bond girl, and it's kind of that classic beauty, black dress, red lip, updo, you know, the whole thing.
Well,
Well, you hit it out
you're
of the park.
surrounded by a bunch of guys who are talking about why they dress like Bond, but obviously, you know, you dressing like some of the Bond girls. I mean, what inspires you to do this?
A lot of it has to do with I transitioned at the age of 21, and I was trying to find out like I was trying to find a style for myself, and I was recently getting back into the whole Bond thing. The Bond girls was kind of not creeping back, but coming back slowly, like integrating into my life. And I think it all really started when I saw a dress that looked like something Domino would wear. And I purchased it and I wore it and I felt like Domino. And ever since then, I'm like, I think I'll take this further. I think I will incorporate this into my life. I wanted to do cosplays because I've been doing cosplays anyway. And definitely doing the Bond Girl cosplays is something that I hadn't seen up until now. So it's, I'm sure there's a lot of fabulous Bond cosplayers out there. I just didn't know about them.
Right.
And so I started doing that for fun, especially once I got my golden girl bikini and had to spray my skin with that gold. I would not recommend doing that. I was glittery for a week after that. It was very difficult to wash off. So when it comes to cosplaying, the Golden Girl is probably not one that I'm bringing back in the near future. It's a doozy to do.
Yeah.
And I didn't use paint. Like I didn't use costume paint. I used a type of makeup that is gold, and then I just painted it all over myself. And picture like glitter, like how difficult it is to get glitter off of you, and like your whole body is like essentially bathed in it.
Oh, God.
Every Tuesday.
That was my brilliant plan. But yeah, essentially my inspiration with the Bond Girl specifically started when I was, you know, discovering myself a little bit more and who I was. And my transition had a big part of that because I always looked up to them when I was a kid, and I thought they were so glamorous, so stylish, so just jaw-droppingly like impressive. And that's kind of how I got into it myself.
Well, I have to tell you, it's great because it seems to me what we all have in common is we use things within the Bond franchise as templates. We're 85% of the way there of who we are, but maybe there's 15% that we want to create some sort of style iconic moment. And you've done the same thing with Bond girls successfully.
Thank you so much. Yeah, I do so sometimes I call them by the book cosplays, is when I try to capture the costume to as much accuracy as I can. And there's other cosplays that are essentially just inspired by the girl. And it's more of those inspired bys that I'll wear in my daily life. And I feel like out of all the Bond girls that exist, Domino is definitely the one I incorporate more into my personal style because her classic black and white combinations are just very timeless and can work with any occasion, really.
Well, you look fantastic, but there's a lot of pressure on you the next time we invite you on, because you got to get another outfit and then another outfit.
There's a lot of Bond girls. I'm sure I can cook something up.
All right. Well, stay in the room. This was fantastic. Thank you so much.
Thank you guys for reaching out and inviting me on.
You are very welcome.
Great speaking to you.
All right. I see somebody that is just chomping at the bit to say something. We're going to unmute this gentleman, and it is none other than, oh my gosh, it is a cultural.
Finally.
How are you?
Here's the us.
Mr. Brosnan, how are you?
It's a beautiful day. Breezy. I feel like there should be an ocean around me on an island somewhere at this point.
Should you be watching GoldenEye right now? Because you're supposed to be Brosnan, aren't you?
Well, I actually, I thought about it, and I love a white suit in the summer because no matter what is eye-catching. Very few people wear a really light suit. And I was watching, what was it? World Is Not Enough. The scene where Brosnan jumps off the balcony to the submarine. Yeah. So cream linen suit with the brown monk straps. Of course, I did away with the black belt, wore a brown belt with it. I think there's a little faux pas there, and matching socks, not the black socks. But you know me, I always wear pocket squares and ties, but I had to stay in the Brosnan mode. So my casual dress up mode.
Harris, as somebody that just got a cream colored suit, what do you think about this number?
Well, as I look over my shoulder here, yeah, I think I'm into it. I mean, Mike, first of all, great to see you, man.
Thank you.
Job well done. I mean, that looks, I feel like I'm literally jumping into a body of water to save Christmas Jones right now. Shout out to Denise Richards, wherever you are. I agree with you, Mike. There's nothing better than a light colored suit during the summer. It is eye catching. No one expects you to wear that. I showed my girlfriend the suit that's behind me today, and I put it on for her. And what did she say? She goes, "You look like the guy from the KFC commercials." And I said, "No."
Oh, you get that?
Said, no.
You get that?
That's
no,
going on the
that's not
poster
what it
for Oliver
is.
Brown.
No, I literally said, "No, I look like The World Is Not Enough, Pierce Brosnan." And she looked at me, rolled her eyes, and continued on with what she was doing. So I'm glad that you at least showed up with the same look that I had in mind. Mike,
so you mean ex-girlfriend? I don't think you said that correct. Oh.
It is
it'll be another
definitely
live stream.
The most unsecret agent. You walk into a room and everyone notices you right away in the white suit. There's very few people. I guess
that's true.
They don't have the stamina, or you can use another word, to wear a white suit.
Let's go with je ne sais quoi or something.
This is totally frugal. I walked into a Macy's once and I saw it sitting there on the rack. I said, "That's it." Grabbed it. It fit. It's very slight tailoring, and that's just first time I pulled it out for the season. So it's very nice to see an old friend again.
It's fantastic.
What an honor that you pulled it out for us.
Yeah, Mike, I love it.
Get that drop.
And Mike, what people may not realize is you're usually, and not out of being bougie, but you truly are usually the best dressed person at a party. And like Matt Spaiser, I think it's a mindset, right? I mean, that's why you do dress up.
Yeah, it was the whole lifestyle. When I got into it, it became just second nature. And it's fun you mentioned Matt, because whenever I meet Matt, we're like two dogs. We start circling each other, looking, say, "Oh, what's that? What's that? What is?" But
do you sniff each other's ass, or that comes later?
Oh,
much later. The
dog agrees.
All times.
I can't believe it was a dog sound.
I know. Someone came to the door.
It's Roger.
You can go sniff. Go sniff Matt's ass for a change. Not mine.
Speaking of, they must have heard you.
Yeah. Mike, thank you so much. Looks great, man.
Thank you.
Thanks, Mike.
Looks phenomenal. All right, we're going to keep clicking through here because I do see a familiar face, although there is something a little unfamiliar about this in that he's not holding a beer. We've got Kyle.
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 Nice.
How's it going?
You look great, man.
Kyle.
I'm surprised with your outfit.
Well, I went completely non-Frugal Bond. This is as far from Frugal Bond as it goes. This is the Tom Ford Mexico City suit from Spectre. So because of Mexico City, I had to be drinking tequila instead of beer today.
Ah.
I'm also doing the John Broughton pocket square. Shout out Bespoke JB.
What Kyle, what tequila are we drinking right now?
This is the Don Julio Reposado.
Ooh,
That's icy cold.
Man.
Yeah, just fresh out of the freezer.
Golly.
Matt, what do you think of the suit?
Yeah, I was actually expecting Kyle to wear a Brosnan look because that's what he's usually wearing when I see him. But it's a great suit. I mean, this suit was probably one of the most iconic from Spectre. Really made a big impression with the check, and because blue checks are not something that we're used to seeing on Bond. But I think Kyle wears it really well, and I really like the white shirt looks really sharp with it.
And cameras don't do this suit justice because it's really vibrant in person. It's like an electric blue, which you kind of miss that in Spectre because of that sepia tone.
The muting, the filter.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's the same thing with the suit that I'm wearing. It's what a really great blue suit is that it can look different in different lighting, and I think that that's just one of the beauties of this suit. It is so just vibrant but versatile.
Kyle, what shirt are you wearing, Kyle?
This is also a Tom Ford shirt. It's not the exact one he wears in the movie. This one's kind of an off-white silk Tom Ford shirt.
Oh, I love that silk shirt.
Love
Kyle,
the color.
I threw on. I haven't worn these yet because I got them just at the beginning of lockdown.
Oh, nice.
These are the Colombo Dove cufflinks.
Hey Kyle, briefly, but we want to hear about a little bit about your story because you're I would call you relatively young in the world of kind of the sartorial Bond kind of collector mindset. So what pulled you into the whole style aspect?
I mean, I've always admired James Bond's style. I mean, as far back as 10 years old, I thought that's how a real man dresses, who wants to, impress people and impress himself, and not settle for anything less than the best.
By the way, we're getting a lot of stuff on the chat room. Very upset about the people living in America that we can get haircuts and they can't. So we apologize to John Nichols and everybody else who are very upset with Kyle.
Shout out to John the Barber.
Yeah,
exactly. John the Barber.
Kyle, hang out for the party. Thanks, man.
I'll be here. Thanks for having me.
Awesome.
Yeah, thanks, Kyle.
Awesome. All right, the room is filling up continually. Now I've got to go to a gentleman who had to set his alarm clock because he is literally on the other side of the world. Thomas Crichton, welcome, sir.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much for inviting me.
Thomas.
Hello.
You look wide awake.
Hello.
Yeah.
It's an illusion. It's an illusion.
What time is
4
it there?
o'clock. 4 o'clock in the morning.
Oh,
brutal.
It's 4 o'clock here in the afternoon. It's drinking time.
And those are your pajamas, right?
Absolutely. I'd sleep in this any day.
Thomas, what did you wear today?
So I'm wearing one of my first tailored suits that I had when I came to China, which is based on the world is not enough linen suit. I just went to a tailor and I saw they had the herringbone linen and couldn't resist it. I'd actually just read an article from Matt about it. So I couldn't resist getting this. And of course, the next trip to Istanbul, I couldn't resist wearing this and going to Kuzkalesi, the Maiden's Tower, where Pierce Brosnan wore it. So.
It looks amazing. And Thomas, I particularly wanted you to come on because I think, and I will embarrass you, I think you're probably one of the best style storytellers on Instagram because you don't just show, images that we can all find on Google if we look hard enough. You actually show yourself, sometimes in location, sometimes wearing those outfits or close to outfits. What inspires you to create those stories online?
I've seen some great Instagram things before. I've seen some great blogs. I've seen some great YouTubes, and I just wanted to share my own experience. I've had the good fortune to go to some of the great Bond locations like Istanbul and Hong Kong. I've got the great fortune to be able to go to a tailor. And I just love bacon and eggs sometimes. I thought I'd take pictures and share it.
Yeah, that made me hungry. That was a good one. I like that you went for something unique, although we didn't know that Culture of Bond was going to, be your doppelganger today, just with a beard. But what is your one favorite accessory that you have? I know we were playing that game earlier, but What's the one that you can't do without?
To be honest, it's probably the Turnbull and Asser tie. So yeah, I've shared about it repeatedly. The one he wears in Tomorrow Never Dies. It's a brown tie with blue checks. Yeah, I got it sent out here to China, and it's still one of my favorites. I would wear it far too much.
Fantastic. Well, hang out in the room, man. Thanks for coming to the
Good
party.
to see you, Thomas.
Thank you. You too.
Hey, Matt, guess what? You get to choose the next person. Who do we choose?
I'm gonna pick Sajid.
All right, let's spotlight Sajid, and we'll unmute
Hey,
him.
Sajid.
Oh, looking good.
Good afternoon, gentlemen.
How you
Good
doing?
Afternoon.
I'm very well, thank you. Very well, thank you. Matt, remember this?
I do remember that jacket. Tell us about it.
Well, this is not mine. This was commissioned by, inspired by Bond, SK. It's the half Norfolk jacket that Bond wears in the beginning of Diamonds Are Forever. So let me take it off and show you guys some of the details.
Nice.
Because it took us quite a while to get the details right.
So you made this, Sajid?
Oh, wow.
Okay, so
Wow.
storm,
Was that the storm collar then?
the storm collar there, yeah. So obviously it comes off, you can put it in your pocket. All right.
And yeah, let's see some of the back, the
Oh.
belt,
Yeah, belted back. It's like
and
a
then the
half belt, right?
pockets,
Doesn't go with
the half belt. Yeah,
The pockets are half lined with moleskin. Can you guys see that?
just pull it up a little higher.
Yeah.
Oh, I see that. Oh, wow.
Wow.
Okay.
Wow.
there's Three
Yeah.
Very
buttons.
suggestive.
Okay. It's a medium weight herringbone tweed, so it's not too heavy, but it's very, very comfortable. And 2 buttons on the cuff.
Yeah.
And let me show you the lining.
Nice.
Yeah, that's
Wow.
beautiful.
Okay.
Attention to detail. I mean, A+. Wow.
Mm-hmm.
It did take quite a few attempts to get the collar right. It did take quite a few attempts. And it's been finished since December. We posted it to New York, but customs were asking for the origin of the wool. So it was sent back to me.
Oh,
We've got 2 more trousers to finish, and we'll send it to SK in Japan.
oh my gosh.
The origins of the wool, we must know.
Right. And David, as I alluded to earlier, this is what I was talking about.
Oh,
Oh,
the boots.
very nice.
Anybody
the,
remember
the
where
Thunderball? Oh,
Is that
Yeah.
Thunderball?
that is? Yep. These are just a sample, and they're basically perfect. I got them in a burgundy color, and I've got another pair coming. Hopefully, well, when he gets back to work.
Wait, were the ones in Thunderball burgundy?
No, they were black.
They were black, right.
I've got too many black pairs, so this is that. And these are called the Spaiser. I called them the Spaiser because Matt kindly made me an infographic.
Oh my gosh.
the
Wait, so
Spaiser.
Matt has a shoe named after him?
He does indeed.
Oh.
I just want
Paris,
to wear
you
it
gotta
and
up
get
the
it really
game.
smelly, like without socks.
Wow.
As you can see,
I need to step my game up.
I
need to
know.
step
You
my
got your
game up.
shirts. You need your shoes now.
I haven't even worn it because in this, time, where am I going to wear it to? Around the house?
Yeah,
So
it's beautiful.
well, thank you. As I said, the guy I got in touch with, he said, let me just send you a sample first to see what you think.
Right.
And as I said, it's near perfect.
Gee, you should get Matt to hand deliver it. Here's the Spacer from the Spacer.
Well, I'm getting Matt a pair made with a day-night sole when he gets back to work.
Nice.
Ooh.
I'd like to see that.
Well,
Very cool.
Well, thank you very much.
Congratulations, mate. Looks good.
Yeah, what a wonderful treat. Thank you. Yeah, hang out in the party thing, but wow. Love it when people show off their new toys. That's always so much fun. Oh my gosh. All right, so Harris, you get to choose who's up next.
Let me take a look here. This is an easy decision. Our friend from Toronto, we met him our last trip, which is also the only trip of 2020 so far. Newly a new father, Armin Iman, all the way from Toronto, our brother from the north. How are you, sir? Look at you. You're wearing an outfit. It looks like that one
there
of
it
us
is.
chose as one of
That's
our
Pete's
favorites.
favorite.
Yeah.
Pete's
This
favorite.
was this was for Peter. This is, I even have a putter.
Oh,
I have no idea how to use this whatsoever, but I have it lying around the house just for show.
Just for self-defense. I like it.
Well, not so much for self-defense. It gives me an air of distinction, I think. I've been told. Thanks for having me on, guys.
It looks great, mate.
Oh,
thanks for joining us.
Sure.
Yes.
Now wait, Eamon, I have a real question for you because I have that sweater too, and I find that I don't typically grab it and just run out of the house naturally. I mean, is it a conscious decision to wear that out, or do you have to be like, oh, I'm going on a Bond show today, I'll wear it?
Okay, very interesting question, because I was going to ask you guys this question as well. This is I usually just throw this on if I'm going to the office, a casual sort of look, but I'll usually put it in this formation. So right now I'm just wearing it with a pair of blue jeans and suede chukka boots, but I've worn it to the office, and it is the only time I've ever worn anything James Bond related where I got a comment. Someone came up to me and said, "Hey, are you trying to dress up like James Bond? That's from a movie."
Oh.
They called me out in a meeting, and I was like, it's the only time. I have little watches and cufflinks and sunglasses, but it's the one piece I've ever worn out. And maybe it's because it's got the gray polo neck underneath, where someone knew exactly where it was from. Now, we became thick as thieves after that because they were a James Bond fan. But do you guys find that ever happens to you when you wear a Barber jacket or the RG or something where somebody's called you out on being a Bond style head?
That's happened to me. It happened to me. I was at a menswear event, and I wore the Goldfinger hacking jacket, and someone who I never met before, someone I guess I had corresponded with online, but he was there, and he recognized me, and I think he recognized me because of the jacket. He was like, "That's the Goldfinger jacket." Now I have worn the Slazenger sweater to work. I've never had anyone mention that it is a Bond. No one's noticed that it's Bond, but they do notice that it's a really nice sweater. I always get comments on that one. Compliments.
And thank you, just a thank you to David and Matt. When I got this sweater, and just speaks to sort of the way the community works, but I was able to go on to David's review and Matt's article on his website to sort of suss out the sizings, because in Canada, shipping stuff from the UK or the US is always a hassle. But thankfully, we have people like you guys who are putting out this content who we can go to. And Peter spoke about that earlier, that people are now more interested in getting those details about fit and sizing before they make that purchase. So thanks for that, gent.
Oh, you're welcome.
Oh, you're welcome.
And by the way, to answer your question, I only had this happen once. I was actually on the streets of New York City with my wife, Danielle, and I was wearing the Billy Reed pea coat, the Tom Ford sunglasses from Quantum of Solace, and I forget what else. And somebody said to me, "Hey, James Bond." But I wound up finding out once they talked to us for a bit, they actually recognized from the channel. So I think, I don't know if it was a James Bond look or, hey, you, I sound like,
hey, David,
but that was it.
That's one time it did happen to me as well. I was wearing the NPL military No Time to Die sweater, and I was at an event in a barber shop, and this gentleman came over and he was really nice, and he goes, "Oh, wow, this is the one from No Time to Die." I go, "Yes, it is. Thank you very much." He goes, "Yeah, Tom Ford make great sweaters." I said, "Well, this is actually, this is actually NPL." And then he goes, "Yeah, but I mean, since Tom Ford came in at Casino Royale and did the wardrobe," I said, "Well, actually, Brioni was doing," and he did a few more of those, and I was always course correcting him. And then at the end, the girlfriend next to him goes, "You're good." I said, "I'm the best." And then walked off. That last bit didn't happen, but up until then, it was
nice. Eamon, thanks for coming on, man. Hang out.
Thanks, gentlemen. Take care.
Hang out.
Thanks,
More to come. All right. We are going to go to Javi. Let me spotlight your video so you can come on. Unmute you.
All right. Hi, everyone.
Hello again. How are you?
I'm good, sir. How are you doing?
Good. What are you wearing today?
I am wearing a Frugal Bond JCPenney blue shirt.
Yes.
But a not so frugal Anthony Sinclair knitted tie that I got for my birthday almost 3 years ago now. It was between that and the Alexander Olk No Time to Die tie. But I wore that during Operation Phoenix, so I decided to trick it up and do a knitted tie, since I don't feel like you see a lot of those in America being worn.
Oh my
They
gosh,
do when
no.
I'm out dressing. They do when I'm out in the real world.
Well,
Harris, do you wear a lot of those?
Exception.
Say that again.
You wear a lot of knit ties?
Knit tie, I would say, is my go-to over anything else.
Nice.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
And then I'm also sporting my Omega Seamaster, the ceramic. So in between, just after Casino Royale and before the new Wave model.
Nice work, Gabby.
Very nice. Cool. I'm glad someone came on with Frugal stuff, because I think that it's almost like there's a whole culture of Frugal bond. Unless somebody's going to, rip, your collar back and look at the label, some of these Frugal bond alternatives are phenomenal.
Yeah. And I mean, I've been a Bond fan all my life. It's always made me want to dress up, even when I was a little kid. In high school on Sundays, I'd be wearing a shirt and tie just because I liked it. And when GoldenEye came out, like, I wanted that watch. I was always mildly interested in horology, but that sparked, like, I need to get that watch. So I got from Target a brand called Morona, which was like their own brand. And you can't see it in the camera, but it actually has the waves on it. And back then, with barely in the internet, I didn't know about the helium valve. And the bracelet it came with matched the bracelet on that Seamaster. I just put it on a NATO after Spectre. I mean, this thing has been through the wars. It is beaten down. And it takes
a licking.
Yeah, and you really appreciate the details, because they have like little flat hour markers, and then to actually have an Omega, the quality is night and day. You can feel the heaviness to it, the way the hands sweep, and even though this one doesn't have the waves on it, there's just a certain feeling and a confidence, having that on my hand. I miss it when I take it off.
Wow.
Yeah. And the funny thing about it too is I've been wanting it forever and ever and ever, and always wanted to get a Bond watch. And I'm like, I'm going to get a watch before No Time to Die. Like that was my goal, to actually have one to wear to the premiere. And it was 2018. I had enough money, or at least to get one of the lower end Seamasters, an entry level Seamaster.
Mm-hmm.
And I'd gone into our authorized dealer, and I looked at some, and I tried it on, and just the Seamaster fit so perfectly to my wrist. It fit better than the Planet Ocean for me. And I decided I was going to do that, but I couldn't decide if I wanted to go vintage and get a Brosnan era one, or go and get a Casino Royale Craig one. And I went back a few days later and tried it on again, the new ceramic one. And I talked with my son about it too, because this is going to be for him someday. And he liked the new ceramic. So he was influential in what I decided. And I went in there to the shop, and the same person helped me out again. They recognized me. So they knew that I meant business. Yeah. And I told her, I'm like, this is the price I want to pay out the door. And I'm buying an Omega today, whether it's online, an older one, or this brand new one. And she's like, well, let me see what I can do. And we made a deal. And
I like the way you went in on the front foot there.
Yeah. The confidence that I had going in, and the confidence it gave me getting this thing I've been desiring for over 20 years.
Nicely done.
Describe the feeling.
I love to hear that.
Yeah.
I love
Thanks
that.
for sharing that, Yabby.
Now I'm working on getting a bespoke suit from Mason and Sons.
Oh,
good choice.
Brilliant.
Yeah. and talking with Pete and Matt, they've helped me out. And Harris Statement, you guys are all just such a great reference. And it helps having Blu-rays and 4Ks now to see these details, but the work you guys put in and day out is so immeasurable, and I truly appreciate it.
Oh,
Our pleasure, man.
that's so nice to hear.
Oh,
Thank you, Matt.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Well, hang out in the party room. Just for
thank
saying
you.
those nice compliments. You deserve it. All right, we're gonna keep clicking through because do you expect me to talk? No,
Hey.
Mr. Bond. I expect you to speak to James.
James.
James, how are you?
There he is.
Hold on, he's got to come off mute.
Go. I'm good. How are you?
Nice.
Hey.
Good. Are you showing off with your giant closet full of clothes?
Well, basically, my wife, I'm in my spare bedroom, and my wife, all my clothes are in the spare room. So yes, I am in the spare room, and I've got my wardrobe behind me. And unfortunately, before lockdown happened, I didn't have a chance to fix the doors on because they didn't arrive in time. So hopefully they'll turn up soon.
Turned out well, though.
Yeah.
So what
Yeah,
are you
exactly.
wearing? Although I could tell you what you're wearing, but what are you wearing today?
So this is very Frugal Bond. It's meant to be Sean Connery in Goldfinger at Stoke Park, and also obviously in the Swiss Alps. I took a long time trying to find the jacket that I was happy with. Eventually I found this one, and it's by a company called Hammond & Co, a chap called Patrick Grant. He does the British Sewing Bee over here for our UK listeners, viewers. And the tie is just a grenadine sort of brown tie. I've got the No Time to Die tie clip, which is obviously a contemporary addition to the one worn by Sean Connery in Goldfinger. And then I've got the these sort of chinos on. Sorry, forgive me for exposing my my
Oh no, please.
But yeah, they are rather tight chaps, I must say. Yeah, so these are from Uniqlo. But this is actually my favourite Bond outfit, and I don't know. I don't know whether any of you particularly know, but I'm a journalist, and I've worn a lot of these outfits on screen for when I do my television reports. And I had one chap write to me or email me and saying, "You've dressed like James Bond for that report."
Nice.
And I don't know what the giveaway was. I don't know whether it was the NATO strap, because I bought the Spectre watch. And
Was that when you were interviewing Sean Connery, though? Was that the giveaway?
Yeah, no, I think it was probably that. No, it wasn't that time. Although I actually chucked that suit. Although that's the Judi Dench suit that I wore to interview her.
You took her suit?
Do you know what? She looked fantastic.
It's not like she's going to put up a fight. No, it's not.
She was a lover, actually. I think she was a lovely lady. But no, she wouldn't have let me take the dress. But she did comment on that suit, and she did like it, and that kind of sort of helped us form a little bit of a conversation. But yeah, as I say, I had one chap email me in and said, "You're trying to dress like James Bond," and I did email back, and I said, "Well, watch this space. You're going to have quite a few more Bond outfits because I base my attire on James Bond."
That's pretty wild. And to boot, you've got one of these fortunate things besides youth is that you kind of look like the comic book version. I don't know if you've ever seen of James Bond. You look a little bit like that. Your face.
Well, that's kind of you to say. I'll take that as a compliment. Someone has actually said I look like a cartoon before, so there's like a running theme.
Roger Rabbit, is that what they're?
Yeah, I mean, yeah. I don't know what to say to that really, other than thank you, David. I appreciate it very much.
No, you're very welcome. So it sounds, I was going to ask you a question, but you answered it. You clearly wear your James Bond passion, especially around style, out into the world and even into your profession. So do you consciously make a decision to say, all right, I'm going to put this look together, or are you just grabbing things in your closet, which just happen to be James Bond?
Do you know what? What I know about fashion, you could probably write on the back of a postage stamp. It's not very much, but I've always loved James Bond, been a huge fan. My father was a really well-dressed man, and I think one of the reasons he sort of introduced me to James Bond, or at least let me watch the sort of films when I was 6 or 7, was because he wanted me to dress or have a little bit of style. A lot of my sort of friends and people my age were wearing soccer tops or tracksuits, and I think my dad kind of wanted me to be a little different. My dad always wore a tie, double-breasted blazer, gold buttons, chinos, and I think he styled himself a little bit between Roger Moore and then also when he was sort of dressed down, Steve McQueen, because those were his two, people he sort of admired. But I remember I think it was my 8th birthday. I said to my mum, she asked me what I'd like for my birthday, and I said I want the Living Daylights Tangier suit, or the Tangier outfit. So it was the sort of tan or beige cream, whatever you would call it, bomber with the cream chinos and the sort of blue polo for what, you know, a sort of a basic version of what he was wearing. But I've always gravitated towards that James Bond look, and it's obviously, as I've got older, become a bit more important with my work. If I'm going to wear a suit or try and dress smartly, why not try and look like the suavest man there is, and that is obviously James Bond.
Well, you took the words out of, I think, all of our mouths. It's like, what better? I mean, there are other style icons and templates, but is there anyone better? Well, certainly not to the people on this live stream. James, thank you.
Well, thank you very much for having me. I appreciate it.
Thank you, James.
Hang out with us. All right. We had a gentleman who just entered the room. He looks like he's at the beach. I can't tell if that's a background thing or if he's actually at the beach. I think he actually might be really at the beach. Oh, your band.
How's it going? It's not
your bandwidth is too low, it says. What does that mean?
Oh, I've seen him now.
There he is. He's got his new Oliver Brown top on, I'm guessing.
Chris, are you there?
Well, I think he's got a frugal alternative.
Or is it
Can
frugal?
you hear me? Okay.
Now I can hear you.
Oh, perfect. Yeah, I'm actually wearing one of my most favorite frugal pieces that I've gotten in the recent couple days. It's actually from Target, and you can find, I think, a bunch of their summer collection, all these different kinds of shirts, camp shirts that resemble a lot of the ones that Bond wore, especially Sean wore in the first couple of movies. And but first off, how's everyone doing?
Oh, terrible. Good. How are you?
Oh man, I'm actually, as we're speaking, on the way up to the California coast. I'm taking a weekend camping trip with a few buddies of mine, but I wanted to hop on and kind of share a little bit. And I found a perfect resting spot. It's actually a big giant lake right before we get to the Highway 101 to the coast, and just hang out with you guys for a little bit.
Dude, I almost feel like I'm going to see Dominic Green in the background with like a floating geologist going by or something.
Oh man, right? Well, I'll be ready for him, you know.
Chris, tell everybody who don't know. I mean, you've got a great channel. I love it. Tell them about your channel and about your frugal Bond moments.
Yeah.
Thrifting Bond, I mean.
Thrifting for Bond. I got to give credit where credit is due. And Ray Crompold from the Bond Armory actually came up to me with the idea, hey, it would be really cool to see you, since you're in college, go out into the world and see if you can go to thrift stores or make it a competition where you have people try to find an outfit but go to thrift stores or however they can find these frugal Bond outfits. And I said, you know what, I'll do it. So thus the project started. I started with, I think, the No Time to Die outfit where you see the images where he's by the Land Rover, the old Land Rover. And then it just went from there. I do some of the older Bond films. I do some of the recents. I like to switch back and forth. But I think it's really important, especially me being in college and pursuing my aviational career, that I get to dress well. I mean, you were talking about it a little bit earlier about how it's always good to dress well. And there's no better person than Bond to emulate. And doing that in a way that I'm able to is great, because I've had people come to me and say, dude, thank you for doing this. Thank you for showing us different outlets we can go to get the look. Because I believe what you said, David, and like, it doesn't matter you go out and grab the most, you know, all of the Bond brands, or if you try to emulate it. No, everyone deserves to have that little invisible Bond moment. And that kind of inspired me to start the Thrifting for Bond movement per se. And I found some really cool outfits and really great alternatives that I absolutely love sharing with people. And hearing their stories of finding their frugal Bond pieces has been really fun. So.
Hey, Chris, that was fantastic. And I hate ageism of any kind, including reverse ageism. So I don't mean to call out your age, but can you tell everybody how old you are?
Yes, I am 19 years old. I'm going to be 20 in October.
I mean, at 19, I couldn't even drool correctly, never mind put together an outfit. So, I mean, there is huge, huge hope for the human race when you see a gentleman like this who's so put together. And I'm not just talking about your style, but just even kind of what you're doing. I've always said it's so easy to destroy and break down. It's really hard to create something. And you've created a channel and a following, and you've made your passion real. So the Bond community can't help but embrace that. So thank you for doing that.
Honestly, I'll be honest with you, David. I found a place where I could be myself. And in the Bond community, everyone is super accepting and everyone is understanding. And I was actually able to come out of my comfort zone. To be honest with you, before I started the channel, I was super shy and I couldn't even see myself in front of a camera. But through all of the support and love and just talking to you and everyone, it's just really been great. And I feel like a whole new person and I feel myself more than ever. And I got to thank all of you guys for being a huge inspiration, for allowing me to just throw my hat in the ring and show this part of the Bond community. And I can't wait to have you guys follow me along my journey. I mean, I just got my very first Oliver Brown t-shirt, and it's the Thunderball, the blue camp shirt, which it's coming on Monday, and I cannot wait to get it. And it's going to be one part of my collection that I'll never forget, because it's a special piece, because it's something that I got when the collection actually dropped, and it's going to be cool to have the moment shared with you guys, and I can't wait.
Oh, that's great.
Nice. Congratulations. Chris, we're gonna let you go because I know you're traveling, but I'll tell you what I'm gonna do. That loud noise that you're hearing is the lawn guys outside. So I'm gonna go close the window.
Okay.
Hear that? This is real world. This is COVID-19. And I'm gonna actually make Harris Thomas co-host so he can keep the questions going. But Harris, maybe we'll keep it grid view now with the party. I'm going to go refresh my drink.
Oh man, well here we are. We're grid view. If you haven't switched, please go to the top right of your screen and switch to grid view. Looks like everybody's muted except for Matt and Pete and I. So let me figure that out.
I think
and we still have Chris.
Well.
We still have Chris. Yeah, it's
mute.
Hang on, I've got. Let's see.
Oh, and
Jovanni, you're here. You're unmuted. Daniel, I'm gonna ask you to unmute real quick. Let's see if this works. I'm being thrown into the driver's seat. Hey, man.
Hello.
Hey, I know we haven't gotten to officially meet yet, but hey, I got to tell you, I know you were the first one on here so far, but your suit looks fantastic. I mean, I think that is one of the coolest Daniel Craig outfits in the entire series. It was a short scene that we got to see it, but I still think the end of it when he gets out of bed with Monica Bellucci and puts on that jacket and the peak lapels are still up and he flips them down. It's the coolest thing in the world. It's incredible.
It's something that was for me. It was a sort of standout jacket, standout suit, because it's the only suit he sort of wears other than the linen one that has the peak lapels, and it's the traditional sort of Tom Ford cut with the very large peak lapels. And I was thinking, when I was having this made for, like I said, it's my wedding suit, I wanted something that was different to what I would normally go for. So it was.
So did your wife allow you to do this, or did you just do it on your own?
Oh, I did it on my own.
Good for you. Good for you. Good for you.
It was one of the things that I knew I was going for, and I said, "This is what I'm going to do," and she was like, "Yeah, okay."
That's when you know you've married the right one, when she's cool with whatever you want. Right? Well, I have a question for you. Hopefully you can unmute yourself. Tell me about your new child, because I know we're talking about clothes here, but I can't not glaze over that, because congrats to you and your wife that we met, back in February.
Thank you very much, Harris. Yes, that was a lovely evening. That was the first night I ever got to wear a tuxedo. And Daniel, when you talk about having an understanding wife, when we got married, I pitched to my wife, listen, I've always wanted to wear a tuxedo. Can I wear one for the wedding? And she totally kiboshed it. She said that if I wore a tuxedo, it would set the tone. It would be too formal. And apparently it wasn't on theme with the wedding. But since then,
it's only the most important day of your life. But other than that, you're good.
Well, I went made to measure in a nice new navy suit that I used Matt's website to help me with. But having the baby has been great. And let me tell you something. Bond style doesn't end with the adults here. I have done my research and digging into the most. I thought to myself, if James Bond was a dad, where would he be buying his child's clothes from? And there are places, Harris, Jacati. That's where we go now. That's where we go now for the stylish James Bond baby. I think that might be a new blog post, Matt, in the future.
I'll have to think about that one.
Well, Eamon, you got Abercrombie and Finch on Savile Row. You can always tap into them.
That is terrible. That was a travesty, Pete, when they came on the road. Don't get me started on that.
I'm trying to think. Well, I mean, you know, speaking of Toronto, I mean, Kyle, you were there in Toronto, if you remember. I don't know. It probably it's hard for you to remember. I'm sure you do. You know, how's your style been throughout this whole coronavirus thing here in America? I mean, what do we wear every day when we're Kyle Barbeau?
Well, today was the first day that I put on a suit and a tie, and I remembered how to tie a tie. I was very, very happy that the muscle memory was like riding a bike. But on a normal day today, I've still been working. So I've been wearing polo shirts that say Miller Lite or Guinness or whatever, and, you know, going to work.
When you wake up every morning, does it start with a Guinness?
Well, it kind of tastes like coffee.
Hey, Kyle, have you found out why the United States is not getting 007 Heineken bottles?
I have no idea why they're not doing that this time around. It was a big hit when they did it for Spectre. I still have a handful of Spectre bottles. I don't know why they didn't do it for No Time to Die.
Yeah. By the way,
all I know is they didn't do it.
The chat room's afire right now. Tim Guccione said, David changed his shirt. I hope this live video isn't causing him to perspire. So I did change my shirt. I did the Lady Gaga thing. Can anybody figure out what the shirt is?
That looks like a shirt that I'm going to wear tomorrow.
No, Harris, you cannot.
Is that the new Orwell Brown, the man with the golden gun shirt?
Well, Matt Spaiser, you're not supposed to play along.
Oh.
You didn't even press your buzzer.
And by the way, the reason Matt knew that is because of the keychain nipple that it
Rather large.
Is that an ooh, Harris?
David, can you please put that on for all of us to see where you like? Where do you want to put your third nipple? You have a whole chest to put it on. I don't know. Moving on.
Third nipples are not that unusual. Like 15% of everyone has some sort of. They're not huge though. They're usually just like a little tag. Looks like a skin tag. These are other information. Javi, look out! There's a cat.
Yeah,
dude. Oh, okay, you knew that.
Must have found you quite titillating.
Freaked the heck out of me.
Very titillating.
Hey, question. I got another question for James, real quick though, because I know that you have interviewed, obviously, Dame Judi Dench, which is amazing. Do you have like a fantasy interview when it comes to James Bond? Anybody in the James Bond franchise, if you could wave a magic wand, who would you want to interview?
This is a good question. My immediate thought ran to Sean Connery, who I had spent the morning with, which was rather amazing. But other than that, I think it's got to be someone like Ian Fleming or Cubby Broccoli or Harry Saltzman. I know you didn't give me the choice of you gave me the choice of one, but I think off the top of my head,
above the ground or under the ground.
Should who wants to tell them that they've all passed on?
Oh, sorry. Do you mean
journalist? I was expecting.
Do you mean
maybe like as your profession? Yeah.
Do you know what? I would actually really like to do a sit-down interview with Daniel Craig, purely because he's someone who is quite guarded. I've met him on a couple of occasions. He gave me a kiss on one of those occasions, which was his polite way of telling me to go away.
Wow.
Lucky man.
Wait, you can't just walk away. What was the circumstance that he gave you a kiss?
So basically, I approached him at the Skyfall after party, and I had sort of got to the party really early in order to get in, because although I had a ticket to the after party, I didn't have a ticket to the VVIP area. And so as a journalist, you know, part of my job was to go to these events and also try and get the scoop. And so I got in straight after the red carpet at the Tate Modern in London, and I hid in the toilet for about 2 hours. until everyone sort of got there and I came out. And, I thought, given its sort of James Bond type technique, sleuth technique, no one would really mind. And anyway, I mingled, and I approached Daniel Craig as he was leaving, and he just gave me a kiss on the cheek and said, "Not tonight, darling," and wandered off. And that was his sort of response to my request to do a quick chat with him. But I have spoken to him on the red carpet, and he's, obviously extremely professional. But to sit down with him and talk to him about his time as James Bond, but also talk to him about all the other sort of interesting aspects, the style, things that aren't often talked about, I think would be quite fun. And also, what it is like to play this character today, as opposed to, 10, 20, 30, 40 years ago, and the expectations on him. Because at the end of the day, he is a man, or a human like every one of us. There's a lot of pressure, particularly when you play a character like that. And I think sitting down with him would be phenomenal, because he's a great actor. So as well as being a fantastic James Bond, if you look at all his other material, he's a fantastic actor. And I think
Tomb Raider,
he's been really good. So yes.
Well done, Pete.
That's,
James, I'm joking. That's a great shout.
Pete,
I think,
can you imagine if a young Daniel Craig was in Heat? Can you imagine?
Oh, God.
Oh.
Well, he would be like the Val Kilmer role, but
the movie Heat. Okay.
Yeah.
Movie Heat.
Got it.
That's Pete.
I'm like,
and
what
I's
a
love
strange
affair.
Not like on the Prowl Heat.
Well,
On the
yes,
Heat,
that is
yeah.
the
He's
most-
just like walking around red light districts.
I'm imagining Daniel Craig is like a baboon walking around with his, it's crazy. Okay.
Pete and I have
listen,
a love affair.
Clearly, and I love it.
Who doesn't?
First of all, I want to thank everybody, and the lawnmower is going right by, hysterical. I want to thank everybody for joining us. I first of all want to thank the chat room for keeping the chat up. Great questions, great discussion. This was kind of a taste. We wanted to do a Style-A-Thon. It's literally like a marathon. I do want to also really thank our special guests. They took the time, many people getting up at the wee hours of the morning. Thomas, I'm looking at you. To put on their Bond outfits, Spency, their Bond girl outfits. And I want to thank you all for really participating. And of course, I've got to really thank my co-hosts, Pete Brooker, Matt Spaiser, and Harris Thomas, for keeping the party lively and just making it fun. This is about people from the Bond community who actually enjoy each other. Go figure. Nobody's getting paid for this. This is not living right there. Pete, I've got a $5 coming for you, but that's it. He's got to leave now. He's got to take Roger for a squirt. But thank you all for joining us. If you did like this, please put it in the comments section. We will do it again. We'll invite more guests. We'll change it up. But I want to thank everybody for joining us today. So
thank you.
Take care, everybody.
Thank you, guys.
Thank you.
Thanks, David.
Bye.
Great day.
Bye.
Thanks, David.
You are very welcome. And hold on and stream. So everybody